Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, Xbox Nation, to, of course, the E3 2019 Special Edition Prediction Show for the Xbox Factor Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and with me, not only do I have one of my amazing co-hosts, I actually have three of my amazing co-hosts, two of which you know from Breakfast at Boom, and of course, to start off the intros, I'm going to start with Drew, also known as the London Gamer, which I made the mistake earlier this year. Drew, I want to tell you, the excitement for E3 is right around the corner. I'm obviously flying out very early tomorrow morning to get myself to LA, but of course, the fever with the Xbox community cannot be contained. Lots of new information, lots of great topics. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. And how excited are you for this year's Xbox E3?
Oh, man. I was running very late. I literally came right down to the wire, but I could not have been more excited to be here. We have So Shady and Zemi Games as well. I haven't heard of you yet, buddy, but it's lovely to meet you. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm so glad you said that we were having some extra people on the panel because this year's E3 is too big for just two people. Like we needed some muscle on these streets. We needed some people on this panel to help carry the weight. It is so exciting, and I hope UK Dazarus is listening because of the occasion, Boom, because of how excited I am and how big this is. Like it is the Super Bowl of gaming. Let everyone listen.
Yeah, cracked a beer. Yes.
Oh yeah. I think that was more than necessary. I never drink when we do a live show, but hell of it. It had to be done. I'm very excited. Glad to be here. Can't wait to hit the topics.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm looking at first of all, I want to thank the chat for being here. A couple of people. We have Sleepy Goblin. We have Doggy Dog. Who else do we have here? Antonian Alicia. Distracted. Dream Eater. Let's see who else is here. We have quite a few people. I want to thank you guys for being here. I know that the Stadia event is happening right now, but obviously, we set up this show in advance. We actually all thought that the Stadia event was later in the evening, which I would have preferred, but it's okay because you guys are here. We appreciate it. Let me continue with my intros. First of all, I have to welcome So Shady, and I said this yesterday. He is definitely one of the hardest working podcasters in the business. He was here yesterday. He was there last night for Xbox Nation, which apparently they had a fantastic show. And he's here again for your pleasuring, if you will. Shady, I want to thank you so much for being here, dude. It's E3. The excitement cannot be contained. You are a gamer. I'm a gamer. Everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, just diehard gamers. But more specifically, we're all stoked for what the Xbox, Phil Spencer, and that team is going to bring to everyone and the world come Sunday at 9 p.m. Thanks for being here. What are your thoughts on Xbox's chances to completely knock it out of the park?
Boom, it is such a pleasure to be here, man. This is the greatest time of the year for me. E3 is literally kicking our door down. Like you said, Stadia is doing their reveal, but I'll be catching that after the show. I'd rather talk Xbox, to be honest. And my God, the games, the rumors, they've been circulating, they've been flying. I am as hyped as it gets. I'm on the brink of a damn heart attack over here. I can't wait to get into it, man. I think Xbox is going to be bringing that heat this year.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. And real quick, before I get to Zemi Games, also formerly known like Prince, Ambassador Zemi. That's why you didn't recognize the name there, Welsh Gamer. He actually did a name change. So
hashtag rebranding.
Yes, hashtag rebranding. I have to thank Dream Eater for the outstanding $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. He says $5 for you guys. Hoping for some killer horror games at this year's E3. Yeah, I'm there too. I hope that we see Resident Evil 3 remake. I think we're gonna get a few. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of VR stuff over there on the PC side. but I'm very interested. But I want to get to the last, but certainly not least member of this Xbox panel for today's special edition predictions show. That, of course, is the rebranded Zemi Games. First of all, he's an outstanding community member. He does not like horror games, so the next whatever topic that horror comes up, he's just going to step aside and keep it moving. But Zemi, thanks for being here, dude. Know that you've been wanting to hang around the Xbox talk for a while. That's why I invited you. I'm glad you could be here, dude.
Oh yeah, and thank you so much. I mean, yesterday you sent me you threw out the message inviting me here, and as soon as I saw it, I was so excited, and I just like messaged you immediately because I've really wanted to come on the Xbox Factor podcast because Xbox is my thing, right? And I'm just super excited to be here. E3 is just a couple of days away. I mean, I think everyone's just jumping up and down from the hype. So let's just go ahead and hop into the gaming news.
Yeah, well, listen. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open up with one of my favorite topics, and of course that is Halo. And you know, this particular story I actually pulled from GameStop, and it was more of I didn't pull the entire story because I don't really like them. Their idea for a story was pretty interesting, so I decided to take some of the points that they had, add a few of my own, and come up with the 10 things I believe that Halo Infinite has to have so the series could once again become relevant and stand tall with, a lot of the other big, the big AAA bangers. Obviously, when Bungie left after Halo Reach, 343 Studios was formed, and we had Halo 4, which had an incredible single player campaign. It had but it had a very Call of Duty Modern Warfare multiplayer. People didn't dig it. You fast forward to Halo 5. Halo 5's advertising was fantastic. They had a lot of good stuff. It seemed as if it was going to be a Locke versus Chief, and one was bad, one was good. The story didn't pan out like it should have. We got stuck using Locke almost 80% of the time. The story kind of fell flat for me personally as a big Halo fan. Warzone was a great surprise. They really brought it. They brought their A game, so to speak, for the multiplayer side. But and again, this is just my opinion. I think they failed the general Halo fans with the story that we got with 5. Graphically, it was gorgeous, no doubt about that. But the story was really lackluster for me. So I wrote a lot. Obviously, when I do these shows, I do write a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of blurb out what the 10 things are, and then I'm going to go to each of course of the panel members, and I want to get the chat involved in this as well, and what you think that or if you think any of these things are relevant to what should make Halo great again, so to speak. The first thing was tell a better and more coherent story, and of course I obviously agree with that. The second thing was surprise us with some new multiplayer innovations. I thought that was interesting. Show us what the Slipspace engine can do. And I think that's going to be very important, especially for this E3. Bring Halo Infinite to PC was, in fact, a big deal. A lot of people have downplayed the fact that Halo is going to PC, and I think that is you shouldn't do that. They are currently 1.22 billion PC players. Now, of course, not all of them are going to play Halo, but if you got 3% of that, just do the math. You know what I'm saying? That's how many more Halo players you could get. And if obviously, if 343 is listening, they will offer the ability to shut off that option. If you're a console player and you just want to play with people on your console, they'll give you that ability. The other thing I thought was pretty interesting is showcase Forge's next evolution. Now, I've never been a Forge person. I don't like the building aspect of any game for that matter. That's why I don't like Minecraft. That's why I definitely don't like Fortnite, because you have the building aspect. I enjoy checking out other people's work, giving it the thumbs up, giving it a 5-star rating, enjoying running around. It's not something I would do, but there are, if you've been following Halo for a long time, the Forge community is tremendous. And there's some really, really talented folks out there, which, obviously you want to advance whatever the next Forge is going to look like. Split screen is back. According to GameSpot, they're considering it good. Now, look, here's the thing. I know that, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, split screen was a thing. The fact that it's in there, I appreciate it. It's not something that I use very often, if any, at any time, because of online. But the fact that they're bringing it back, I think, is important to a lot of people. And this is the next one is important. Have a responsible microtransaction plan. And I actually think they kind of did that with Halo 5. I never thought that anything in Warzone was egregious. You did not have to spend your own money if you didn't want to, but there was an option should you wanted to spend the bucks. And some people do. I mean, listen, I'm not saying I'm part of the problem, but if I see something that I want, I always allude to what happened with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They had a Pegasus with wings that looked like something out of a movie that I like, Clash of the Titans, and I bought it. And I spent my $20, and I still to this day do not regret it. And I am using those skins still. So for me, it was worth it. The next one was pretty interesting. Use Halo Infinite to show off the power of the next Xbox. Now, there's been rumors, and we'll get into that a little bit later, that Microsoft is going to show Halo Infinite running on a PC that matches the power of the Anaconda, showing off what the game can do and what the system could potentially do. Again, this is a theory because it is a mock-up. It's not the actual Anaconda. At least that's what we're hearing. And I think they need to do that because both the Anaconda and the Halo Infinite are months and months away, at least 14, 16 months. We're talking holiday 2020. So we're looking at least 18 months. They need to show something that's going to melt our eyeballs and wow the crowd for sure. Those were the 10 things. So I'm going to go to Drew, who I'm sure wrote down a significant amount of notes with everything that we discussed on what Halo needs to do. Is there anything there that you disagree with or that you highly agree with?
Dude, to be honest, like this is the thing, right? I've got notes for pretty much every other topic apart from this one because when I read it, the way you displayed the notes, I was just like,
there was really no writing around it. Yeah,
dude, I'm sorry. I got to give you 100% props, man. Every point you made was absolutely just bang on the money. I couldn't think of one thing that I would change. Maybe Shady and Zemi do, but for me, I don't. And and honestly, just summarizing, tell a better story. Like straight up, first and foremost, like Halo 1 to 3 with Bungie were excellent. For me, Halo 4 was the best story of all the Halos so far. And then Halo 5, they definitely dropped the ball with the misleading trailers and the Locke overhaul. As much as I enjoyed Locke, I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I do agree that they need to centralize Chief more and with this open world element, really get us deep, thrown into the big bad world of Halo. Multiplayer innovations, couldn't agree more. Like, even take current existing game types like your standard capture the flag, big team battle, or free for all, and just make it bigger instead of 10v10, make it 50v50 or 100.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Honestly, just do it. I couldn't agree more. The slip space engine, show that shit off. If you've got biceps, make sure you wear short sleeves.
Yeah,
bringing Halo Infinite to PC, I've got an issue with that. I don't see the problem. I'm just summarizing. But split screen being back, yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you that, like, obviously, with today's gaming, the gaming era we are in, and youngsters today probably don't even know what split screen even means. But the fact that it's coming back and it'll be there, I know I'll definitely use it. If my brother's back from London, yeah, London and Wales are different, boom. If my brother comes back from London to Wales,
that's great.
I know he'll end up staying at my house. We'll have a couple of beers. We always used to play Halo growing up, so it's nice that feature's there. The other things are a given. The microtransaction thing, I love that. One thing I'd love to see them add, though, is the Halo Reach market with regards to being able to select and buy whatever you want, like you said about Halo and Assassin's Creed Odyssey with the Pegasus horse. Man, I literally can't say any more. All I will do is end on your penultimate point, which is the biggest one of them all, in my opinion. Or should I say neck and neck with the story, because obviously that's very important. Halo Infinite to show off the power of the next Xbox. Now, this has been a polarizing thing. A lot of people I've heard say, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't show too much into the future. But I say, nah, fuck that. Apologies for my language, but Halo Infinite is a next-gen title, so why not show it off on the next-gen system? I mean, they do it all the time with multiplats. You'll have like in-game footage, and 9 times out of 10, a multiplat that's shown on the E3 stage at either a Ubisoft game or Infinity Ward. Usually, they show it off on a PC or something just to give you the best possible look. And it's like they have no problem showing off on higher-end equipment. So if they came on that stage and gave us a 20-minute showdown of what we are in for Halo Infinite, and at the bottom it said captured on the Anaconda, I, for one, can speak for myself, would be elated, buzzing, and it would only get me more excited for the future prospect of Xbox and its hardware and its games. So I don't know if I speak for myself or for other people entirely, but dude, you summarized it well, and excellent. I'm just so hyped for this game, man. Whatever they bring, I can't wait to see it.
You know, the one thing that I wanted to allude was the multiplayer, and you jumped on it, and I just want to kind of piggyback of what you're saying. You know, big team battle has always been my personal go-to multiplayer for Halo, simply because it's a big map with a lot of people. If of course you're in there with friends, it becomes a teamwork based, romp. And I enjoy that, but at the same time, you know, when you start talking next gen, I think that we're going to have to get into a position where, where we're talking, 30v30, 40v40, 50v50. You know, I want these epic battles. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily know how they can pull a 50v50, like let's say, like a PUBG, because you're going to have massive amounts of weaponry, right? You're going to have massive amounts of vehicles. So, when you start, how many Scorpion tanks are going to be on the field? If you have 6 running at each, three, running at another 3, you have, 10 warthogs. You have, obviously it starts to pile up. What's going to happen with the frame rate? I honestly don't know, because I'm not a game developer, nor do I want to be. I just enjoy talking about them and playing them. But I think that, they're going to have to, besides all of the regular modes that we all know and love, right? For me, I want to see epic battles. I want people to start talking about Halo the way they used to. I mean, if you remember growing up around Halo 3, everyone on this panel, probably everyone in the chat remembers those water cooler moments. I remember playing Halo 2, and on the OG Xbox. I could remember one particular moment. It's probably one of my best moments in the history of my Halo playing. I was in a bit of a ditch, and I had a rocket launcher, and these 3 a-holes attempted to run me over with a warthog. So what did I do? I hit them with the rocket launcher, killing all 3, and the warthog in flames and the bodies flew over me as I ducked. And it was like the entire world just slowed down, and I remember just looking and saying, holy shit, did that just happen?
Yeah.
That's what Halo is. That is what I want Halo to be again. And I think we're going to get it.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, sure. Please,
I literally want Shady to take this straight off me. So Shady, get primed, warm yourself up, dude. It's coming straight at you. But what you're saying just makes so much sense to me. Like when you look back into the history books, when Halo 3 and Halo 2 were at its prime, what made those games so big is they completely revolutionized online gaming in the biggest way. Like everything you just said just sings true to me. You're speaking my language. But I think since then, even since 343 took over, they haven't really done, and this isn't really a slight, because there's a lot of games still stuck in the past a bit, but they haven't really taken the idea of the multiplayer and expanded. They've created a few things like the breakout gameplay. You have Warzone, excellent. But I want to start seeing them expand and grow and make shit bigger. Like the same things we were saying back in 2007 when it was like, oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at all these players. I don't know what to do with myself. There's so much to do. I want to see that. But in 2019, 2020, 2021 and beyond, I want to be able to look back in 20 years' time to this day and being like, boom, remember that time when we played Halo and there was 100 people all battling, trying to capture the flag and there was explosions, man. Those were the days. Like that, I just want that back. So I completely agree. Shady, take it away, my brother.
Yeah, man, well said. You had a lot of good points there. So did Boom. Obviously, I really like the idea of showing off Halo on a high-end PC. One, it's going to be available on PC, so it is supporting that platform, so there's nothing wrong with showing the best that it can be. As you brought up, Welsh, other companies have no problem doing this, so I have no problem with Microsoft doing it either. And if you look at like a car commercial as an example, they put the best model in the commercial, the best, biggest rims, the nicest ground effects, the sunroof, all the packages, right? All the bells and whistles. If you go to the dealership and expect to pay the lowest possible amount for that car, it's not going to be the model you've been shown. And I think that's going to be the same here with Halo. If you walk in and you pick up the, not the Anaconda, but excuse me, the Lockhart version, you can't expect it to be exactly the same as what you've been shown. Maybe even if you pick up the Anaconda, it won't be exactly the same because they are upfront about this being a PC, if it is. So I'm all over it, quite frankly. I just want to see what next gen is going to look like, even if it's just a tease, even if it's PC, quote unquote, version of next gen. I don't think Anaconda is going to be that measurably far behind it. Like even the X right now, outside of frame rates, holds its own against like really, really high-end rigs as far as the graphics on screen are going. There's a few games that are different, but overall, the X is a beast, and I expect the Anaconda to be the same. So show Halo Infinite on maximum hardware. I want to see like ray tracing. I want to see maximum graphics that this is able to pull off. I want to see the slip space engine in all of its glory, not just the tease we got last year, which was basically just the engine. That wasn't officially Halo Infinite at all. The game might not look like that at all. Master Chief's armor might not look like what they showed last year at all. It was just a tease at what the engine was capable of. So obviously show the game. I mean, that's an obvious statement there. Show the game. I would like to see a hot trailer, not just some gameplay with someone playing it, but give me a wicked trailer, wicked music. Obviously bring the Chief back and make him front and center.
Yes,
as opposed to maybe a side character or even sharing the spotlight. He needs to be the highlight of this game because a lot of people last game, they just felt a little bit slighted. I wasn't all on board the Locke hate train like so many people out there seem to be. I thought the character was fine, but I mean, I would have rather played as the Chief, and you didn't get to do that so much in the last game. But other than that, things I would really like to see. I want this game to be an open world. I don't want it to be a sandbox or to be your standardized Halo. Give me a big open world, maybe on a Halo ring or something. It's the entire ring. You have all the biomes at your disposal when you do that, and you can have those standardized Halo campaign experiences as well in the open world. You just go where the mission starts and it'll load up the mission and it'll take you to, that type of campaign experience. And once you're done, you have this giant open world to just constantly explore, have fun in with your buddies when you're playing co-op. I hope there's tons of daily challenges and whatnot to go and do in this open world. I would love it if they bring back the customization from Halo Reach. I want to be able to choose the armor that my Spartan wears, even if he's the Master Chief. I don't think the Master Chief is stuck in just that one armor. If he wants to put on some new stuff, why the hell not?
Yeah,
there's so much new gear in the Halo world constantly coming out of Oni for these Spartans. Why wouldn't the Chief want to maybe try out some of this new stuff? So I think customization would be a huge thing as far as replayability goes. Same with the challenges and the open world. I would love to see it go back and be gory and gritty. Halo 1 and 2 had a ton of blood. When you were shooting the Covenant, blue blood, orange blood was flying like a geyser out of the spots you were shooting on these guys. And even when they were dead bodies, my buddy and I, we would kill everybody, and then we would walk through the area and spray
and there's
all
blue
the
and purple blood all over the place.
Well, we would shoot everybody again in the head all over the place, so there'd be blood just sprayed all over the environment. And then we would come through with our flashlights on. We were in our late teens at the time, and we would like role play that we were reporters going through a scene, and we would look at just a massacre that had happened. Oh my God, look at this! But the blood was a geyser in Halo 1 and 2 especially, and it has been toned down bit by bit with each game. I always thought it was because it was just a physics effect that was taking up CPU space, and they were trying to push online polygons as opposed to a blood effect. It might be because they just wanted to tone the violence in Halo down to get, put it under the radar of parents. I'm not sure what it is, but bring the gore back to Halo. I would love to see that in a big, big, big way. And then bring back like a standard firefight. I thought just firefight
Yes.
horde mode was absolutely fantastic.
Thank
Expand
you.
on it to the point where different weapon drops are coming all over the map. I found in Reach that the spots where you could reload your UNSC weapons were too few and far between. So you had to play on the same spots of the maps whenever you played that. Whereas I wanted to take the fight way over to the other side. But if I did, I was forced to use the Covenant weapons because I couldn't reload my UNSC stuff. So just
again, that's a gameplay failure.
That's right.
If you can't reload the weapons I'm using, you're saying that you're forcing me to play the way you want to play.
Well, and it's a horde mode, right? Like in the campaign, I understand that they don't want you walking through with just, the rocket launcher or something. Certain guns are available at certain times, and that makes perfect sense. I'm fine with it. But when it comes to a horde mode, I'd like to be able to bring the fight around the map where I choose to fight and where I want to, the playground that I'd like to play in, basically, and use the guns that I think are fun. And I just found it limiting before. But just really bring back that standardized firefight. Don't be aggressive on the microtransactions. I didn't think they were in 5 at all.
No,
I didn't
not at
spend
all.
a penny.
Not at all.
Like not a penny. And I have dozens and dozens of unopened packs because the amount of stuff that I actually built up was staggering. It was huge for that mode. It was good. I would love to see Battle Royale. I think it is coming. I don't care what IGN says or anyone else. I think Battle Royale is coming. They're working
you know what?
with another
Actually,
team,
I want you to kind of elaborate on that because you made a good point. But before you do, I just have to say a big thank you for the outstanding $10 super chat from Smitty Smith. He says, "Hello, everyone. Have a safe and wonderful E3." Boom. Listen, I want to thank you. First, I want to thank everybody. So a lot of people don't know this. I'm very open. I'm very transparent. And I try to do as many giveaways. A lot of the monies that are donated, obviously, if you don't know, Google takes 30% off the top. There's no way around it. That's just the way it is. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. So I try to do as many giveaways as I can. You obviously know that my wife is really heavily involved, and she spends some money out of her pocket. But this year, a lot of these super chats, a lot of people don't know this, helped me get to E3 2019 because it is quite expensive, and I've been kind of just putting the pennies away. And that's why when people, some people look down at $1 super chat. If you do, shame on you, because people don't owe you anything. So if you're enjoying the content and you want it to help, people have been very generous, and I want to just say thank you for that because of that generosity, it really did help me get to my first E3. Something I never actually thought I was ever going to happen. It was really on my bucket list. Never thought that was going to happen. So from a very humble gamer, I just want to say thank you. But Shady, I want you to kind of elaborate on that point because we were talking through the DM about that, and I think that it's important.
Yeah, I mean, I know a little while ago, months and months ago, 343 themselves had come out and said the only BR that we have interest in is the battle rifle.
Right.
We're not doing a BR mode. But then it was only a few weeks after that they'd announced that they were working with a separate dev team. I forgot the name of these guys.
There's over 100 devs on that team.
That's right. There's 100 devs, not just dudes, devs on that team. And they have full access to all the assets from Halo Infinite. Now, what is this other team making? That's what I'm thinking. 343 just said, we aren't making a BR. This other team is making a BR, in my opinion. I think that's what's happening. Battle Royale is undeniably massive. If it's not for you, that's fine. If it's not for Joe Blow over here, that's fine. It's for millions and millions of people at the moment. It is a massive, massive game mode that is getting a lot of attention. Fortnite is still taking names out there, So I think Halo lends itself to Battle Royale so much that's my theory. Brad Sams, shout out to Brad Sams, he agrees that he thinks there's a Battle Royale. Maybe he's heard something. It could just be something he thinks might happen. It doesn't matter.
He said it on this show, Shady.
Yeah, he put it out
He
there.
came on this show as a guest, and he's going to be back. We've talked privately. He will be back. And he said that that he heard from a very, very, very close source, didn't say who it was, that they are in fact doing one.
That's right. So, and he's got some pretty decent context. I would consider the man somewhat of an insider, if you will, So I like what he's going with. And the other day, IGN released a video which was just
We're going to get into that.
yeah, it
That's
was like
actually
the
going to
yays
be
nays kind of
that's two
crap.
topics from now, right? Because I really want us
Okay,
to
okay.
go. I want us to
So
go deep
I think it's
on the
happening.
yeah.
Yeah, I really do think it's happening, regardless of what IGN's opinion on the matter is, which we'll get to later. But I do think that Battle Royale is happening, and I would like to see it take place on like the entirety of a Halo ring. Again, you have all the biomes, you can have all the vehicles. It's by far big enough to host however many players they would like to put on there. The buildings that are on, like the architecture and stuff that's on a Halo ring, the Forerunner technology looks so cool. It's fun to come up on. It would be great to have all the loot. Again, there's so much different types of Spartan armor out there, lots and lots of different weapons, especially with what Halo 5 brought to the table, with all the
Right.
different scopes and stuff like that, different ammo types that a lot of these guns were using. So I think it has the loot system to support a battle royale, but I would like to see it not just be PvP. I want to see the AI in a big way in a battle royale mode where there are constant groups of covenants and what have you walking around the environment as well. And as the player, you're forced to choose, do you want to maybe hide from this convoy of elites as they stroll by, or do you want to kill them and give away your position from all the sound and action going off? But while you kill them, you have chances at getting more loot, maybe more ammo, more guns, more grenades, stuff like that. Like, I really want to see the AI come back in a big way in a battle royale. And speaking of AI, Halo still to this day, in my opinion, has some of, if not the best AI in a shooter. It's very dynamic. It really pushes the action a lot of the times. I'm talking on heroic or legendary here, not
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
or
which is the
normal.
way to play. If you
That's
want to play
right.
with buddies, you go legendary, brother.
Exactly. And I would just want to see really, really, really engaging AI. I'm tired of playing whack-a-mole with the AI in these games where they just hide behind the crate. And for some reason, even though they know I'm aiming at them
Great
down the scope, they
whack-a-mole, that's
know it.
awesome.
He still has to peek out, every 5 seconds and then go back. And then every 5 seconds, he peeks. It's silly. It is such a dated thing. Spend the time and effort to give these AI some awesome, engaging scripting going on here. And I'm all over it, man. Like, Halo is my number one hyped, especially Microsoft IP. But it's my number one hype game to see this E3 because we just haven't seen it yet, man. And
Yeah,
what they showed last year, what the engine was capable of, just has my imagination going wild, absolutely wild. I'm so
well,
excited.
you're a scenic dude. Like you
Yes,
enjoy the details in a game. Most people just run through a level and can give a shit. But you
exactly.
take a guy like myself, like you, like for instance, Rage 2, and I talked about this yesterday. I won't go into detail about the a-hole when I talk about him, but I put 10 days, 11 days now into Rage 2. Now, people might say, well, wait a second, Boom. That's a little ridiculous. Well, no, it's not, because I go to every part of the map and I try to clear out every area in that area. I just enjoy a game when it has good shooting, good travel, great gunplay, great graphic. I want to be in that world. Like, I'm in the ID world when I'm playing this game. Now, some people just want to, like a barbarian, run through something and call it square. And if that's the way you play, guess what? That's awesome. That's the way you play. I like to invest my time because I like to appreciate the small details. Now, before you continue, Shady, I have to say an absolutely ridiculous thank you to Corey Hale with the unbelievable super chat of $28.65. He says, may everyone going to E3 have that kid in a candy store feeling throughout the whole event. Dude,
Oh,
listen, I have been packed since Sunday. I have goosebumps talking about it. I am, again, this is a bucket list thing. I never thought in the history of my lifetime would I ever. First of all, there's a lot of one ups that I've never thought I was going to do. First of all, I never thought I was going to get into a podcast, and Mooch, obviously made that happen. I never thought I was going to have the skill enough to actually have my own show. And thanks to the outstanding generosity and friendship of J Dubs, known as the Graphic God, who took me under his wing and really kind of just explained everything to me, took the time away from his family to become one of my best friends. And of course, meeting this entire community. It's been amazing, and now I'm going to E3. It's like life changing for me personally, and I have to say, Darch Knight, I believe that's how it's pronounced, with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, "E3 week, let's go Xbox." Indeed, Darch Knight. Indeed. But continue with your points, Shady, please.
Before you continue, Shady, I just need to say amen, brother. Like everything you've said.
Oh,
so far. Honestly, man, like the whole thing with regards to Firefight, and then you went on to say Battle Royale, I completely agree. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was a separate entity. Like it didn't come in the package of Halo Infinite. It was kind of like what Crackdown did with the what was it bloody called? The Wrecking Zone.
They're two separate downloads. Yeah,
like two separate things. Keep it its own entity, like the same brand but two separate teams. Man, I can see it, man. Everything you said, just carry on, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. And then I was just going to end it with like what you're talking about, Boom. I want the environment to be just exquisitely detailed. I want wildlife everywhere and like long grass. So when I'm slowly walking through, the grass blades are bending around my Spartan. And as I get into like the swamps, the water, just the waves going around your legs or your waist, and as you go through, it's on point, man. Like that's what I find myself doing actually with Anthem at the moment. Instead of flying through that open world at 200 miles an hour, I'm walking everywhere, like literally walking. I don't run. I like to walk. How does the water react to my javelin? And it's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And I want to have the same experience in my Halo where I can just take my time and slow right down and smell every rose and just how does it react when I walk up to it? Is it moving when I bend over to give it a sniff? You know what I'm saying? Like I really want the physics to be just in your face and absolutely everywhere. Make this game a spectacle to behold and just a joy to walk through, let alone get on with the crazy action and start killing some Covenant. But like, just bring it, man. This is the flagship title that Microsoft, this is what started them. This is what got them on the map.
Right.
Give it all the respect that it deserves and come out and just completely reinvent the franchise and show everyone, and especially the naysayers that are like, Halo is irrelevant and dead, no one cares. Show those guys that Halo is anything but. It is one of the biggest franchises in video game history. And it's only going to be getting bigger here, guys. I mean, there's a TV show coming with a budget like no other. This thing is going to be big. To say I'm excited and hyped is not doing it enough justice. I cannot wait for Sunday. It can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, and of course, I want to go to Zemi because, obviously he's an Xbox dude. Like he's on the Breakfast with Boom and he does talk about Sony. He gives his opinions, but I know for a fact he's always wanted a big, guest on this show because it's an Xbox specific show. And Zemi, listen, there's no doubt that whether they start with Halo, which I think they should, or they finish with Halo, it needs to be big. And I'm not just talking about like the size of the room big. I need it to be the size of a Halo ring big. And the reason why is because Shady and, of course, the Welsh Gamer had great points. This is their flagship title. This is their God of War, their Nathan Drake. It always has been. It always will be. And because we're not getting it this year, I think that it behooves them as a company to completely show us something that in the same way that they showed Metro Exodus running on the supposed X hardware well before it came out, and they delivered that. They can and should do the same thing. What are your thoughts on that, dude?
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I pretty much agree with what every single person is saying. To the exception, I really don't want a battle royale. I really don't. But if they add it, I really kind of hope that they keep it separate from like the core main game and just like, release it as a free to play, game similar to how Fortnite and Apex Legends has done, just a side kind of thing. But yeah, I that entire list that you read, or just ran through like the highlights of it. I absolutely agree with it. But I will even take it further and say that I really hope that the gameplay is more grounded, like how it was in Halo 3 and Halo 2.
Okay, so you want some OG Halo brought back to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not saying bring it back, without any boosts or anything like that. But I want to know that I'm playing a Halo game. I don't want to play the game and think I'm playing Titanfall or
Gotcha.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I want to play Halo. That's why I paid $60 for Halo, right? So I definitely want it to be more grounded. And I think a lot of the hardcore fans kind of want that too, just from like a lot of the YouTube videos I've been watching and stuff. I think a lot of people kind of want that. And then for Warzone, I really liked Warzone, but there's definitely some problems with it. And one thing that I really hope that they do is, heavily expand on it, make the maps bigger, add a crap ton of NPC characters running around fighting, making it feel like an actual war zone.
That's a great point, Sammy.
Titanfall 1, what that game did for me at least was so amazing because, they had the NPCs that were running around the map, actually making it feel like you're in a real war, in a real battleground. And I just absolutely love that type of gameplay. And it also, like the less skilled players can go in there and kill the NPCs and they still feel important as well. So I really, really liked how Titanfall did their multiplayer, and I would love to see that be more incorporated into Warzone. And then the microtransactions for Halo 5 didn't really bother me, but what I kind of hope that they do is they add less stuff in the sense that, whenever you played a multiplayer match, you got like 5 cards and you're like, what do these things do? And then, you could go through your inventory of all the different cards, all the different abilities. And Warzone, I hope that they don't have any of those abilities that you can, click on and whatever. I hope that you can, unlock guns as you play through. Or just have them all unlocked and just have you selected or whatever. And whenever you kill, 5 grunts in a row or something like that, whatever it may be, unlock different skins that way, or have the ability to purchase them if you don't want to actually unlock them in the game. But I really kind of hope that they keep the microtransactions a little bit less in your face, because it just seemed like every single time I won a match or played a match of Halo,
they were dropping boxes of cards, right?
Exactly. Okay. And another thing that I think is going to be really, really important, at least in 2020, whenever I play a game, put me into another game. Like, don't make me have to wait a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes to find another match. If everyone just got done playing a game and we are all wanting to play another game, just launch it again. You know what I mean? Because that.
Well, what you're talking about makes a lot of sense, and I absolutely agree, because that waiting usually could just people start to drop out, and you start to lose people you enjoy playing with. I think that the addition of the PC Master Race is going to increase the playable odds, so to speak. Think about it. The PC fan base has been jazzing for years to get their hands on a new Halo game. I think that this is an ingenious move. This goes right in line with, of course, Xbox Game Pass for PC, right? Because obviously they don't care where the money is coming from, whether you're paying for the subscription of $10 a month or $15 a month, I believe it is, with all of the extras that you get, or you're actually buying the game. They're making money off the software, and the more copies they sell, the more money they make, the more they can invest in whatever game that's selling, which would be Halo. And I think with the fan base being more than just the 45,000 consoles that are on the market right now, you're talking a billion people that play PC, right?
Oh yeah. It's a tremendous amount. Yeah.
Well, even more than just a player base, I think Zemi's trying to say, like, don't force me to sit there for 2 minutes just so people can swap their gear.
Oh, okay. Well,
whatever it is, right? Like, let's lower that in between timer to like 30 seconds. Like, you got to be on the ball to change something, or you back out and change your stuff, then come back. But a lot of these games, they just they force you to wait for minutes at a time between your multiplayer matches. And as a multiplayer guy, man, that time adds up. That null time, it really adds up quick.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get these matches going quick. I'm with you, Zemi.
And another thing as well is, I don't know if there's a difference between ranked and just like casual gameplay, but it feels like to me a couple of days ago I was playing Halo 5. And I think I was just playing casual, and I would play a match, and then it would literally, after the match ended, it would kick you out to search for a brand new match. Instead, why not just have me go against those same old people the way that Call of Duty does it? There's certain things that, other first-person shooter multiplayer games do that are really, really good. that I think Halo should incorporate, but I don't think Halo should be copying the actual gameplay. I think they should try to make it feel more like, you know, an old school Halo game that has new features rather than it pretending to be a Call of Duty or pretending to be
that makes
something that it's not.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's no doubt that they're going to be. Listen, look, I'm going to say this, okay? I think moving forward, and you can wrench this back all the way to post E3 2018. They are not screwing around. Okay, yeah, you know, we've seen like in the last couple of days the Xbox body wash and stuff. I don't know if I would have. Again, that's not what I would be doing for marketing now during E3.
Well, it's got the true 4K scent, Boom. True 4K scent.
Gamers got to bathe, and that's something that we.
No, it's listen. I gotta get my point.
What have I missed? An Xbox body wash?
Yeah, dude,
right.
I'll send it to you. They have body wash. They have deodorant. It's just.
Welsh is already sold. He loves it.
Oh, that's horrific.
Well, listen. Anyway, getting back to your point, though, what I really want to allude to is the fact that they understand the stakes. And, you know, I happened to pop on the BRAP podcast late yesterday for just about 30 minutes to talk with the guys. And, you know, we have to understand that, you know, before Phil Spencer was awarded this position and promoted in 2017, the entire Xbox division was handicapped by someone that is known as the human roadblock. Terry Myerson completely nearly ruined the brand. Okay, so now we have to look at what Phil Spencer himself, being the leader that he is, has done. And all he has done is great things for the Xbox and its community. Now, again, I'm not taking away from their shortcomings with the first party. They have addressed that, folks. And Halo Infinite, which had a $500 million budget, has been confirmed by Brad Sams, who a friend of this show. You know, they're spending the money. So in regards to Halo Infinite and Gears 5 and whatever they're going to announce, folks, you have to understand they're going to be bringing the AAA game to everything they touch. The days of the recores and the cancellations and the shortcomings with these games are over. That's done. Okay, well, we'd love all those games now, but at least we know we have somewhat of a timeline. And listen, I think everybody in the chat, all 125 of you, are super stoked for Halo Infinite. I think everybody on this panel agrees that the main attraction has to be what this game looks like. You must show gameplay. Do not be afraid to show a game that's 18 months out. Phil Spencer said it himself. They're going to show games that are 12 to 18 months out. This falls right in line. Let us see what this game looks like. Show us this game shooting, running, jumping, and melt our faces off.
Well,
that's all I got.
Couldn't agree more, man. Like, they need to pull a Sony on this one. It's a big
That's a great point. Yes, they do.
Very important. They need to do it. It's very important. Like, I mean, I understand we do have another E3 between now and the official, like, you know, launch of these systems, these games, all that shebang. And I don't want to see this become a habit neither. I don't want in 4 E3's time for them to still be adopting the let's show a game that isn't ready for another 10 years mentality. But right here, right now, why the hell not?
Well, I mean, and all eyes are on them as well. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
great
I mean,
point.
they may never get this opportunity again. I mean, we don't know what the future E3s are going to be. I mean, everyone is looking at them, and either, you know, they're super hyped to see what they're going to do, or they're looking for every single flaw so that they can blast Xbox, right? But either way, everyone's looking at them, and if they just knock it out of the park, make no mistakes, you know, no one's going to be able to say anything but wow. You know,
that's right, man.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think they can pick a better title either to showcase and tease next gen, man. If this thing, brand new engine from the ground up for the first time, show us what next gen is capable of with Halo and the Chief, ray tracing, 4K, 60 frames. Oh my God! Like, it would be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable. Like, I'm gonna have a resuscitation machine here, just in case I go down during this E3. I'm convinced of it, man. I'm gonna tell my buddy, like, just put this on to me. I don't want to die. I'm going to need to see Halo actually release, I think. Like, this
Keep
is
the
it, man. Bring
adrenaline
it
syringe
all
to your
out.
left, man.
That's
Keep
right.
the
Put it
adrenaline
all
syringe.
out there. Put it all out there, I say, when it comes to Halo. Let's do it.
No, absolutely true. And Zemi, you raise a fantastic point that just completely slipped my mind as well. The fact that all eyes are on Xbox this year, but more importantly, it could be the only E3 till the end of time. Like, how often is Sony going to pull out?
No,
Like,
they'll be back next year, dude.
Yeah.
This is
It's the biggest show this year, I think, isn't it?
You know, look,
plus 1,000.
They well, first of all, you have to understand. Okay, now obviously we're not going to get into console war nonsense. We don't do that on this show. Okay, but I'm going to say something. There's been a lot of tweets out where the head of E3, and I don't recall the gentleman's name, said that that they're sold out. So they're expecting 65,000 people. Okay, that's how many people are going to be coming to E3. The show floor is sold out. The tickets are sold out. So obviously, of course, everyone's running with the 14-0. E3 is still relevant. Sony says nay. That, whatever. That's fine. Okay, I'm not going to get into that nonsense. What I'm going to get into is that this E3 is huge. It has just as much, possibly more buzz than any E3 before it. And why is that? Well, because Microsoft is the lead dog. They're the main attraction. When you show up and you're looking in the case, you don't care about anybody else. Yeah, all the other third-party companies are important. Nintendo obviously is important, but no one cares. And you know what? Why should you at this point? Because this is Microsoft's show to lose. And they understand that. Phil understands that. Mike Ybarra understands that. Aaron Greenberg, the master of marketing, he's got to be running amok because he understands how important this show is going to be, not just for the platform, not just for the brand, but for the fan base.
Absolutely.
This fan base has taken it over the head this entire generation. It started out with the handshake trading games. It continued with 900p versus 1080p. It continued with the shortcomings of first party. Enough's enough, folks. You know what I'm saying? We have stood strong as Xbox gamers. We've supported this brand, even though we got shit on by the media and everybody that's part of the toxic, not the regular PlayStation folks, because I'm part of those regular folks. The toxic community of Sony, who just love to tease, love to pick fights, love to be a-holes. And you know what? This particular E3 is as if the Xbox brand is going to go through one of those car washes that does everything for it. It's going to come out gleaming. That's what they need to do.
They do, man. Like, there's a lot of people saying that E3 is irrelevant now, and I think that the tickets selling out like they have, 66,000. I've heard that the last two E3s were about 45 to 47,000. So we're going up almost a third, 33% growth over last year almost here. To say that it's irrelevant, I think, is just absolutely obscene. Obviously, one of the companies out there felt it was irrelevant, and they didn't show. And yet they can't keep their trap shut. They're all over Twitter. They're releasing little tidbits. They're dropping buzzwords. They're showing trailers to some of their games. Go to E3 if you wanted to stay relevant. It's that simple. The event is there. Millions are waiting to see. They're excited all year to see it. And you decided not to show up. Just stick to the side and shut up for this next 2 weeks and stop trying to ruin everyone else's fun. Stop trying to take down your competition. If you wanted to do that legitimately, you should have showed up. And that's really my take on it, man. They let the fan base down, all gamers down. We're missing a 90-minute show of games this year because they decided not to show up. Shame on them.
Yeah, you know what? And what I want to do is I just want to, because obviously I didn't expect the Halo topic to take an hour, but I'm glad it did because, quite frankly, it's worthy of a 60-minute part of this show. Before I move on to the next topic, which is a fan topic, and I hope he's in the chat because I haven't seen him yet, I have to thank Gotham Guy with the outstanding $10 super chat. He says, trying to grind through this week to get to the nerd catnip event that is the Microsoft Fan Fest E3 event. Unlike you, Boom, I have not started packing yet, but I'll be there Sunday with bells on. Yes, dude. Listen, I hope we can meet in person. I was gonna say have a beer, but I don't drink, so I'll have a Dr. Pepper or at least at the least a Poland Spring. But thank you so much for the generosity. It's greatly appreciated. Now I want to move on to the next topic, and this one's pretty cool simply because this was a fan requested one last last week by JD Gamer, who's a fantastic supporter of the show. And he originally asked what 10 games need to be at Microsoft's E3 2019. Now, 10 is a lot. So what I decided to do is I just brought it down to the top 5 games. And of course, I'm going to read them. And, obviously, I'm going to go to the chat and I'm going to go to the panel, see if they agree, if there's something that I missed that they may want to add in their opinion. And I'm going to start off with, of course, Halo Infinite. And though this sounds as a no-brainer, we just talked about it. And I'm not going to break down my whole written spiel simply because we know why Halo needs to be there. But I'm going to move on to the second one, and that's Gears 5, of course. Absolutely. And this is another no-brainer, but at the same time, the trailer last year stunned the entire crowd. I mean, it literally was everything people were talking about. And that's what you want from a Microsoft first-party IP. It looked big. It looked bold. It had a bunch of rumors about the size and scale and scope of it. It's Kate's story. JD seems to be playing a bit of a backseat. So, you know what? I'm interested to see where they take it. Is Kate going to be a bad guy? She's going to, I'm saying, is she going to turn? I don't know. But I'm going to say this. For me, and once I'm done reading this, all of the things, we'll break it down, for the chat as well as the panel. I need to see this so-called open world. The thing I've been dreaming about for years as a Gears fan. I've played every Gears. I've beat them all multiple times. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start playing Gears 4 right after the summer to get prepared for the new Gears, because I don't want to miss a thing, and I really want to play through that game. I'm going to see if I can team up with a couple of people from the community. I'd love to do that. That would be awesome. But I need to see this open world that we've been hearing. I want to know. I want to see the desert. I want to see the forest. I want to see the frozen tundra. I want to see how we're going to get there. I want to know if there's side missions. I want to know if there's something other than a burnt out car and a broken building that I'm going to find a dog tag in. I want more. I want this to be the biggest Gears ever. I think we're going to get it. The third one is Fable. We've heard numerous rumors that it's going to be there. We're going to get a trailer of sorts. And I got news for you. The way I think the trailer is going to be broken down is I think that we're going to get a Halo Infinite type of reveal from last year, where they kind of just show, different parts of the universe of Abion. Maybe it's the forest, maybe it's a frozen tundra part, maybe it's a rocky dungeon. I don't know. And maybe they show someone holding a sword, maybe they show someone in the distance doing magic. But that's how I think we're going to get it. I'd like to see the fourth thing is Forza Horizon 4's new DLC. And I know the game came out last year, but the DLC plans for that have been less than ambitious. And we're hearing multiple rumors. We're hearing and Shady himself called this a Micro Machines-esque kind of world where the cars are real small. Everything is superimposed.
That's right. I'm hearing it might be Lego, which is pretty. And that
cool. Was going to be the other thing. Now we're hearing it. Actually, they might have teamed up with Lego, which would be pretty dope if you ask me. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, I would think, and it's not a game, but I think that this is an opportunity. And Phil did it last year, and I think it's going to become a running thing, simply because the monies that Microsoft has coming in from all of these different avenues in regards to their services. They're just going to keep expanding. We need to find out for sure who they're buying and how many new companies going to be joining the first party, because obviously you'd love to see them get up to somewhere around 20. And then obviously Game Pass becomes a no-brainer because games are going to be flowing. And we've already heard numerous times that they want one AAA banger per quarter. And the only way they're going to be able to do that and keep up with the quality is to have numerous studios. I've heard that Double Fine Studios has been rumored to be purchased. One of those games, and I think Double Fine is great. But I want to go to the panel, and I want to go to Shady right away. What are your thoughts? I'm sorry, Shady. I'm going to go to the Welsh Gamer. I don't know why I said that. I want to go to I said it again. The Welsh Gamer first.
Really
I'm trying to read the chat. Oh my
Do you know
God!
what?
I listen as a host. I'm gonna listen to the show and I'm gonna hate this part because I don't like making mistakes. But anyway, the Welsh gamer. You know, I said my 5 pieces. Now you can go crazy and change them and say any 5 that you want. But what do you think about my 5? My particular 5 for the list, and what would you add or subtract from that?
Oh mate, I couldn't possibly subtract anything because that's your like personal take. And frankly, you had a lot of bangers in there. Like, obviously, you had Gears. Gears is a big one. Like Gears, out of all of yours, Gears was the biggest one for me personally because obviously we've talked a great deal about Halo and stuff, and that's equally important. But I'm where you are sitting, Boom. We've discussed this week after week. I wish to see.
You remember people booed us. You remember that?
Oh yeah, and I was there ready with my short sword and shield. Come at me, bro. I was like, I don't care what they have to say. Honestly, like literally, like I want to see Gears take on a new life. I want to see it in a whole different light, a much bigger world exploration. I'm fully expecting to see these things. But believe it or not, Gears isn't on my list. Neither is Halo. And this is going to be quite quick because I can't really indulge in about 4 out of my 5 things, as you'll see now. So Shady, you'll be having the mic very soon, as Boom really obviously wants. So don't you worry, mate. Don't you worry. Warm yourself up, brother. But at number 1 on the top of my list, which you also mentioned, but still I have to profess, you know it's coming, and that is Fable.
Yes.
Like,
Must be there. Must.
Honestly, mate, honestly, I almost answered this question. I was waiting for you. When I first was writing my notes, I was like, Boom's obviously going to say, Welsh, what are your 5 games you'd like to see? And I was literally just going to go Fable, 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 and Fable. But then I thought, you know what? The people watching live have come to see a show. I got to be a little bit more energetic than that. So Fable is right there at the top. That needs to be shown, even if it is just a little tease or a little bit of concept art, just a picture in the background of a chicken being booted halfway across a football field with a bloke like, yo, Fable's on the way, son.
That's great.
I couldn't give a fuck. I just want to see Fable and know that it's coming, whatever. And my next 4, pretty easy. I want to see what Ninja Theory is working on. I want to see what Rare is working on. And I don't mean Sea of Thieves, as I have no doubt we'll see.
Well, they've already confirmed that Sea of Thieves is not going to be on the stage.
Oh, okay then. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, I fully expected to see some Sea of Thieves DLC.
They don't need to. They have Inside Xbox for that. I agree with you, dude. They don't. They do not need to put it up there.
But I would love to see what their new project is. So there's
Yes.
Ninja Theory, Rare, The Initiative. That's number 4. The Initiative's new IP or IPs, plural. Again, it doesn't have to be full-on trailers. I know it sounds pretty unlikely and unrealistic. I am right there with you. But if there's even a slither of chance on this narrative we are pushing of don't be afraid to show things that are way out.
Yes.
I wouldn't be...
Dude, you said it earlier. Pull a Sony.
Yeah, absolutely. Why the hell not? The Initiative have been recruiting. They might not even have put a pen to the paper yet. Who knows? But why the hell not just say, this is what we're thinking of doing. What do you guys think? La, 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 la. I don't know. Just get people excited. And then last on my list, but certainly not least, is Playgrounds Games' new RPG IP. Now, I know I said Fable at the start, and I'm highly speculating it to be Playground working on that. But if for just a second, Fable is being worked on by somebody else, and Playground is in fact working on a whole different title entirely, I want to see what they're working on. Now, I have one honorable mention because I feel it needed to be on the list in some capacity. It's certainly unlikely. I'll be the first one to admit it. The likelihood of this happening, I have about as much chance of getting rocking horse shit. But Rise, Son of Rome 2.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see that. If they like, oh man, it's a wrap. Mic drop. Between that and Fable, if they shown that on the stage, I don't know how long the show is going to be, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but hell, they only need 2 minutes if they're going to be dropping Rise. It's like, yo, we're doing Rise. End of show. Wicked.
Yeah, listen, I still think Crytek, I know that's been debunked by several Xbox dudes. Randall Thor, for more specifically, friend of the show, has debunked that. I'm still holding strong that Crytek is going to, it just makes sense. They're in financial woes. They have not been financially set for years, right? The Crytek engine is an engine Microsoft could sell to other developers. It's a great engine. It still works great.
Can I say something quickly, Boom? Just to
Yes.
give it, like, only because it's on my mind. I want everyone to get their fair speak, but literally on the back of what you just said about Randall Thorne, I know he's not the only one who've said like, "Oh, this is not happening. I'm sorry," debunked. But I got to be honest, like, and this isn't me like spitting down on Rand or anyone for that matter, each to their own. But like, I don't think anyone, unless you are literally in the ear of Phil Spencer or vice versa, I don't think anyone has that capacity, that level of
knowledge. Yeah. Insider knowledge. Yeah.
Agreed. In Rand's defense, I mean, he does honestly play games with Phil Spencer. So, I mean, he does have the man's ear, but I do agree. Until we hear it from the horse's mouth, anything's a go.
Exactly. And like I've said to Boom, just to end my point, and I hope you guys agree, you might disagree, but I said it last week and the week before, I've said it multiple times. There is literally, in my opinion, no limit between what Xbox is capable of doing. And I said to Boom last week, and Boom agreed with me at least, the only thing that stands between what we are talking about, speculating about, getting excited about, and the reality of any one of those things actually happening is Phil and his checkbook.
Yes,
pretty much. Yeah.
Great point.
That's the so like who are we as mere mortals to say, oh, Rise 2 is definitely not happening, when as far as we know, right here, right now, but on the other side of the planet, to me anyway, in Redmond, like Phil's probably there. He could be shaking hands with someone over at Crytek as we speak. Who knows? We won't know. Like, he might have broke up. He might have played Rise, Son of Rome the other day and thought, shit, I forgot about this game. Crytek, get him on the phone, quick.
That's great. I love it. That's great.
Honestly,
that is great. That's a great way to close it out, dude. Listen, Shady, before I get to you, I have to thank Fastback, OG NLG podcast with the extremely generous $25 super chat, dude. That is crazy. Thank you so much. He says, BoomStick, appreciate all you do for the community. Happy you're going to E3 and can't wait to hear your experience. Happy E3 gamers. Yeah, well, listen, dude, I'm there. I'm getting to E3 because of generous members of the community like yourself and everyone that's donated today, yesterday, and the weeks before. It's again, I said it before, I never thought I'd be able to get there. When you're retired and you're not working, you have one check. That's it. So, the whole Boom buys everything. In theory, it sounds like it's something I do. I have skipped out on a lot because it's only one check, folks. You know what I'm saying? And it's not bad. The pension is not bad from the NYPD, but it's only one check. And, obviously, I wanted to go to E3, and the Iron Lords kind of made that happen. They showed me the ways of the Force. They took this Pateron, they made him a Jedi, and I am going with them. Nice. But of course, so Shady, this is a big topic. We're going to be on this for a while. This show may go over 2 hours simply because there's just too much shit to talk about. What are your takes on what 5 games do you need there for you to walk away and say, you know what? This might be the best E3 I've ever seen. Good on you, Microsoft. Good on you, Phil Spencer. All hail the chief.
All right, man. I think you and Welsh nailed it. You had a fantastic list. Obviously, Halo, Gears, Forza, those are tentpole pillar franchises from Microsoft. There's some naysayers out there that think that because we get to see them and actually get games on the frequent in those franchises that they don't count. They count, and I love seeing them every year. They're fantastic. I get excited when I see those 3 franchises, so they need to be there. And word on the street is they will, so I'm not worried too much about that. I would like to see maybe upwards of 2, maybe even 3 of the IP, whatever they may be, that these new studios that they grabbed up last year are working on, and maybe even some new studios are working on. Like, if they're buying up everybody, I'd love to see something, just something. Doesn't matter what it is, just give me something that these guys have been building. I think that would be fantastic. Word on the street is we're going to get the Ninja Theory reveal, which would be awesome. Like Hellblade.
Yeah, I think that's big for them. That's big.
That's right. Cyberpunk, again, that game has just so much attention and so many eyes on it that it has to be shown, and they've confirmed that it is. And then I'm going to put beside that CD Projekt Red's brand new IP, if it is a brand new IP and not another Witcher. I think that would be huge for Microsoft to once again reveal something massive from CD Projekt Red, which to a lot of people, they're up there rubbing shoulders with like Rockstar in the development world. You know, these guys are top tier developers, man. So to reveal something brand new like that would just, I think, blow people's minds as well. And then, you know, I think what would go a really, really long way on correcting a lot of ignorant narrative, if you will, in the world would be to show Final Fantasy VII Remake on stage. Show that up there on the Xbox, just so everybody knows, without a shadow of a doubt, that one of the most hyped games in all of gaming history kind of deal is coming to the platform. I see more people convinced that it isn't than people that know that it is. And it's a shame. I'm going to say this right now. Once again, Walmart Canada, my brother and I were on it last night, and they've got a bunch of E3 games that you can pre-order now that are going to, you know, you get percentages off for pre-ordering it early. And they already have Final Fantasy VII Remake listed under
dude,
Xbox.
it's been listed. Again, this narrative, and you know what? You are right. I have seen so many people tweeting this as in their exclusive lineup list, and I'm saying to myself, wait a second, did I miss an announcement? Did I put my head in a hole somewhere? And this big Square Enix announcement came out and said, you know what, we're putting the brakes on the Xbox version. Screw you, Emerald Green people, and we're gonna just go with the Emerald Blue community. I don't understand where this went wrong, Shady.
I'm assuming it's because of the initial reveal of that game back at the Sony conference a few years ago, right? Same with Shenmue. I'm pretty sure Shenmue 3 is going to be a multi-platinum platform game as well.
It is as well, yes.
That's right. Like, there's a lot of them that are, and they just get held up as exclusives. I mean, kudos to Sony's smoke and mirrors marketing for basically convincing a lot of the population that this is the way it is. And it's not. Like, I've gotten into full-blown arguments with 40-plus-year-old adult men in the real world that Star Wars and Destiny aren't exclusive to PlayStation. He's telling me they are. I'm like, bud, I play them every day at home on my Xbox. And his reasoning, of course, was because the commercials have PlayStation branding.
Yeah,
this dude's over 40, right? Like, it's embarrassing, but that type of marketing does work on a certain segment of the population, unfortunately. So, I mean, kudos to them for convincing so many people that these games are Sony exclusives, but they're not. And I think this would be a fantastic way to make it very obvious. They did it last year with Kingdom Hearts 3, if you recall. That was on Xbox's E3.
Well, I mean,
and people were like, what? When it was obviously known that it was coming for a very long time, but it took an E3 stage to get your average, you know, casual to realize that it was available on Xbox. So do the same with Final Fantasy, I say.
You know what? I think Final Fantasy is going to be on the Microsoft stage. Square Enix obviously is doing their own show. They actually took the Sony spot.
That's right.
And we're going to get a big Marvel reveal, you know, Marvel's Avengers, which is going to be magnificent. We're going to get a few other reveals. We're going to finally get to see that this might be the Destiny type game that I personally want. And I hope, obviously, for multiplayer mode. And listen, just let me play as Captain America and I am golden. But because I'm such a Marvel freak, I will be playing as everyone to kind of level up everybody and just enjoy the hell out of it.
That's right. And then there's the last thing I'd love to see is just an out of nowhere sequel that people have been liking. Like if you could get a Quantum Break 2 or a Sunset 2 or like a Rise 2.
What would be the sequel that would knock you unconscious?
The one for me, it would be Rise 2. I'm with Welch, man. I really liked that first Rise. I thought it was a fantastic game. It is much deeper. And it's much deeper than most people give it credit. Like it really is. It's not a quick time blown out game. You don't have to do the quick times. If you do them, you get bonus health or bonus damage and stuff. Otherwise, it's just a kill animation. But the actual game is challenging, especially on the hardest difficulty, and the cooperative multiplayer mode
is where it shined.
The story was great. It was a nice, dark story, great revenge tale. The graphics, especially for a launch day title, are insane. They still hold up. All it needs is an action enhancement with like a resolution boost, if you will. It looks great, and I would love to see that game just really, really fleshed out. It started life as a Connect game, so for it to be what it is at launch still, I think is very impressive to go from a Connect-focused title to what we ended up receiving. I love the game. I've beat it multiple times. The multiplayer cooperative, I think, is top notch. It's so much fun. So
Potential
a
with that
Rise 2
alone.
would be insane. I would love that. But just an out of nowhere sequel that people didn't see coming, I think would really open up a lot of eyes that Microsoft is bringing the heat, man. So I'm excited, and that's my list.
The potential of the Rise 2 online, though, alone, despite how
man.
great the campaign, they could have done so much with that. They could do so much with that if there was a Rise 2. Like, look at For Honor and Rainbow Six Siege and shit, how things like that have just blown up. Like, I think that, like, Rise 2 could just take it to a whole nother level. We haven't got a true, like, 5v5 or 10v10, like, multiplayer team deathmatch, capture the flag, all these different things, but with swords and shields. I need to see that shit.
That's a very rare genre, man. I agree. And something like Rise, it could jump time periods. You know, you could have a Viking Rise or a Japanese Rise or anything like that. Like, I think it could go anywhere and tell different stories and just be called Rise.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. I would love to see them continue in that era. I'm a big 300 fan, so you know, obviously that era really does work. That's why I probably enjoyed Odyssey so much. But I think that they could. You know, follow up. You know, obviously going to be a new character, but that would be fine. You know, it would be it would be one of those announcements that would be cheered on for days after its announcement. That's what Microsoft needs to do. They need to get up there. They need not to be afraid to spend some money. They need not afraid to go back to old IPs. Listen, I could tell you that right now, and Zemi, I want to get to your point. You know, obviously it's just as important as any of ours. So I'm going to get to you in a second, but you know, you get up on stage and you announce a Sunset Overdrive 2. You announce. And I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying any one of these titles, a Quantum Break 2, a Rise 2, a Sunset Overdrive 2, a follow-up to Alan Wake, any of these older IPs, and Goth Witch Girl, who's a big fan of the show, thanks for being here, she says Recore 2. And I agree with that. I think Julie was an amazing character that wasn't flushed out. And I think that the robots, her companions, had so much potential, and the world was gorgeous. It just wasn't done with it did have the budget. Why didn't it have the budget? Because Terry Myerson's an asshole. That's why it didn't have the budget. So, you know, if they want to bring back the new school people, they do it with games that new IPs. You want to keep your faithful around. You want to keep the people coming back for more. You bring back some of your older IPs. But Zemi, I want to get your opinion on this. I know that you're chomping at the bit to talk about what 5 games. What in your opinion, as an Xbox specific gamer, that's your joint, that's your jam. What do you need to see?
Now, is this list going to be different from the other list that, like, the top?
Well,
this is not the predictions list. This is what you want. You want to see
absolutely.
That needs to be there for you as a gamer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I'm definitely Welsh. I mean, I'm in the same boat, man. I mean, honestly, Boom, you should have led with Fable. I love Fable, man. I do. I really do. I mean, I need to see a teaser. I need to see a trailer. Whatever it is. I mean, hashtag boots for chickens. You know, I mean, anything. You know, anything. I need great. Fable. That's what I need. I want to know who's making it.
Yeah,
I want to know when to, you know, generally look for the game. Is it going to be like early next year? Is it going to, you know, is it going to be a launch title with a new Xbox? I need to know these things. Quantum Break 2 would be fantastic to see. A Rise 2 would be fantastic to see. There's no way I would ever play it, but an Alan Wake 2, so many people are just like screaming that they want one of those. Like, yeah. Like, and whenever the game first released, a ton of people wanted a sequel, and it just never happened. So an Alan Wake 2 would be really, really important, I think. Not for me, but for a lot of the fans out there.
Well, obviously you don't like the scary stuff.
Yeah. So I would never touch it. I'd never play it, but you know, I still want to see it happen because I know a lot of people really, really enjoyed that game and would love to see a sequel. But honestly, I mean, you know, a lot of the list that you mentioned was pretty much perfect. I mean, obviously I want to see Gears, I want to see Halo, I want to see I'm not too worried about the whole Forza thing. I like Forza, but I'm just, you know, there's too many games. I can't get that big into a racing game. But yeah, I mean, I'm super pumped for it. I really hope that they bring out some new IPs. I really want to see what Ninja Theory is working on. I really want to see what the initiative is working on.
Yeah, that's big. I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so that's probably going to be my messed up list.
Well, I don't think it's messed up. I think that unfortunately, you put out a list, and I think that the most important games are there. And I just want to hear from everybody. You may add something. I think that one of the as important as the games are. I think that because it went over so well last year. I would like Phil Spencer to get up on that stage and say, guess what, guys? We bought 5 more studios, and this is who, I'm saying that let Phil be who Phil is. Come up there and say, because he's going to do it in a proper manner. He's not going to do it where he's kicking sand in the face of the world. I'm not saying I would do that either. I'm more of a politically correct kind of a dude, and you know what? I walk quietly, carry a really big stick, just in case I need it. That's how I roll. So if I was Phil Spencer, I'd get up there and say, yeah, you know what? Last year, we announced all these studios. We created the first quadruple A of this generation. And this is who has joined the Microsoft family of first party developers. And he gets up there, and there's quite a few that I think that, we've been hearing for quite some time that, Asobo Studios, who just released the Plague Tale. That's why that's an important studio, because if you, and I know you reviewed it.
It's such a good game.
It's an amazing game, but guess what it looks like? It looks like a Sony adult themed, story driven, third person over the shoulder kind of a game. That's something that's missing from Microsoft's portfolio. So you buy Asobo Studios, and we've heard that they're the next ones to be announced. Maybe they're working on something kind of similar to what Ninja Theory was doing. Like, we have this idea we want to do, we just can't afford to do it. Microsoft sees and says, you know what? Yes, that's what we need. They don't need every game to be a multiplayer / single player experience. They can win and continue to grow the brand, having a little bit of everything for everyone. Right? So you talk about Crytek. I think Crytek is going to happen. I think it's going to be a big win for them if they get it. IO Interactive, we've talked about that. Relic Games, for me, seems like an almost no-brainer with the way that PC is Xbox and Xbox is PC, right? And Double Fine Studios just came out 3 days ago. That rumor dropped. So I want to know who they're considering buying. I've been saying it's going to be 3, but we also said last year it was going to be 3, and he dropped the bomb of 5. So I would love to see Remedy. I know that they're currently
Remedy
working
on a third party game,
right?
But so is Obsidian, and they still acquired them. So
you know what it is. I don't know the blood. For some, there's you until we hear from the head of Remedy, we'll never know. But there's supposedly some sort of bad blood between the companies. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's why they weren't considered. Maybe they did offer to buy them, and the Remedy was like, "F you, Microsoft." I don't know.
It might be true, because I was actually researching, because I was curious. Quantum Break and Alan Wake are both, the rights to the games are actually both owned by Microsoft Publishing.
Right.
They have the rights to that. And so I was just reading up on it, and apparently Remedy wanted to make a second Alan Wake, and then they wanted to make a second Quantum Break, but Microsoft said, yeah, no. So that might be the bad blood.
That could be. It could very well be. But listen, this
probably
is
why they made a new game called Control, like a little double meaning. Like, yeah, we have control over this one, bitch.
Yeah,
go away, Microsoft.
I like that.
That's great. That's great. Well, listen, this has been a great topic. Look, the next topic is, I was very on the fence about talking about this, because this is an Xbox show. But I think because there's no Breakfast with Boom tomorrow, for obvious reasons, I felt that I would take 15, 20 minutes of today's show and talk about this, because I actually reached out to Drew and I said, Drew, what do you think? I wrote the topic, which I'm not afraid to do. I write so many topics don't get used. It's ridiculous. So I wrote the topic. I sent him. I said, Drew, what do you think? He says, Boom, we have to talk about this. This is necessary. Now, obviously, you hear the fire engines once again showing up during the show. Of course, I like the Firewhackers. I work with them all the time. And I'm just going to mute it for a second as they go by.
I was going to say, maybe they're coming by to put out the fire in my scorched throat. I apologize for coughing like that. I thought I was muted. Now I'm all embarrassed over here. You shouldn't be hearing that.
No, come on. Listen, that's live. Listen.
Dude, I was
okay. So
we're and then you didn't say anything for like 10 minutes. I was like, shit, he's choked on a bloody.
Hopefully, it wasn't a chicken wing bone because that's what everyone enjoys eating during playing some games. But look, here's the thing. IGN is making the news once again, and again, I don't get it. I don't like console war shit because I support all 3 consoles. But I gotta call a spade a spade. And, you know, in my opinion, folks, and I think a lot of people in the chat will agree with this, I consider them the incompetent gaming network. And they sent out a tweet from their official Twitter account. And the title was, IGN readers have revealed they're more interested in the PlayStation, in PlayStation's next generation console over any manufacturer. Now, look, it was clearly clickbait because that's all they're good for. And what pissed me off, what aggravated the shit out of me was, why now? Like, it just seems like it's a slap in the face to not only Phil Spencer and the team at Redmond, but pretty much all of the Xbox fans. Because why? We're going to E3. Phil says it's going to be big, 14-0, right? Right. That's the big running thing on Twitter right now. So this is what I wrote to. I wrote this directly to IGN, and I got over 200 responses, over 200 likes, over I think it was 80 responses. It was unbelievable. It's probably one of my better tweets. I said, I have to say this is exactly why I stopped supporting your brand. Xbox E3 conference is 6 days away, and you drop this now. Sony skips the entire event, and you say nothing. Wow. Hashtag clickbait. Hashtag looking for clicks, hashtag disgrace, hashtag keep the lights on no matter how.
Nice.
Okay. Now, again, for the most part, I received many of the community's support. And of course, like you know, it's social media. You're gonna get a couple of, you know, ponies that jump in there, not Sony players, but you know who I'm talking about. The people that try to shit on everything that you say positive about the Xbox brand. And of course, I don't even respond because it's unnecessary. I don't get into middle. I'm a grown man. I'm going to be 49. I don't need to start arguing with children. So I put them on the pay no mind list. Now, they did this poll, and of course, what was not in the title, and I didn't click it because I will not click on anything IGN. I give them the big FU. I take out the middle finger, double style, and I just drill it towards their views. I don't like IGN. I think that they're garbage. I really do. And you know, what's amazing to me as an Xbox gamer, not just an Xbox gamer, as a gamer who enjoys all of the different parts of the industry, and regardless of what flag you fly, I enjoy gaming. I just find it so insulting, so demoralizing to the fan base that there's been no articles talking about how Sony should be shunned for really just taking a dump on their fans. You know, this excuse, well, we had nothing to show, so we're just not going to show up. Well, you know what? A couple of years ago, Nintendo showed up with one game called the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild. And guess what? People consider they won E3.
Well, on top of that, Boom, Sony can't keep their trap shut at the moment. They're tweeting, they're posting, they're dropping buzzwords, they're sharing trailers. Like, they obviously can't. They want to share. They should have gone. They should have been there.
And then, of course, well, you know, IGN stepped in it again yesterday where they basically called out Brad Sams. But in my opinion, they called him a liar. They called him unreliable.
Pretty much.
Which is unbelievable if you know Brad Sams. And we were extremely fortunate to have that gentleman on this show, which, by the way, is considered a massive Xbox insider. So I'm going to go to the panel. I know Welsh, I'm hoping that there's a rant coming, and because I know I'm going to get one from everybody else. What were your takes for this particular nonsense that we call the unintelligent gaming network.
Oh man, I mean, like I've been saying for years now, you cannot spell ignorance without IGN. Like and it's true because they're just so like out of the loop. It seems. I mean, even as far as them call, like, even on like like obviously I'll get to the main meat and potatoes. We're all waiting to hear, but like even the Brad Sams thing, like taking shots at him, it's like that guy's in his own lane. He's doing his own thing. He's putting out information off his own back, putting his reputation on the line. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. That's the game. You don't need to broadcast that shit and shun him like he's just a piece of shit on the bottom of your shoe. Assholes, man. Absolute bastards. But literally, with regards to the Welsh Gamer rant incoming, I mean, the other day, Boom, when you showed me this DM, like, oh man, like what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you were worried, like you were, like by us talking about this, you were worried that, would we be highlighting drama on otherwise an Xbox-centric E3 hype show? And I'll say to you now I'll say now to the panel, everyone listening, what I said to Boom then. This is not drama. And it's far from drama. We are, and I think it's our responsibility, our due diligence as the gaming community. We are just reporting on clear and unsubtle bias in the media that has been plaguing our sources of gaming information since the beginning of this generation, despite people somehow, and there are people out there, claiming there isn't a bias. Like, I'm not a fool. There was bias last gen, like towards the 360. I'm no hypocrite. To say there's no bias now towards PlayStation is just plain foolish. There is a bias. And seriously now, guys, I'll be honest, just making this clear as day, I have no issue with individuals having a preference. And if this outlet in question was called PlayStationNewsForLife.com and not
That's great.
and not IGN, then I would completely understand the open leniency towards Sony's platform. But how can an outlet that is meant to be a neutral and reliable source for gaming news and reviews going into next generation can broadcast so openly that they're leaning more towards PlayStation system? It just blows my mind. It's unprofessional, in my opinion. It's unprofessional, to say the least, especially this close to an E3 where their so-called preferred system isn't even turning up. It's quite obviously a cheap attempt to steal thunder from Xbox's conference and get some traffic and discussion going on about PlayStation, even in their E3 absence. It's truly desperate, pathetic, and really unsubtle, in my opinion, not to mention, once again, unprofessional. To end my I don't even know what to call this. This isn't the most loud rant I've ever done, but to end my sigh of just disappointment that this is the gaming media we as gamers have to look at on a daily. What I find even more hilarious, Boom and panel, is us guys on the panel will likely be part of a very, very, and I mean very small minority in this gaming community that will actually speak up about this. But mark my words, if IGN came out and said that they were leaning more towards Xbox next generation, while I would say exactly the same thing on how it's unprofessional, you know full well it would be World War III in these gaming streets.
It would be unbelievable. The social media might break down and melt.
Oh, dude, there'd be nukes going off. It'd be like literally the people be pressing that red button quicker than you could take a shit. Like, it's just. It blows my mind, the unprofessionalism. It just blows my mind how these people have a job, how these practices, it's so unsubtle, it's so childish. And I actually caught the arse end of what So Shady was saying pre-game before I put my headphones on and set up like the last bits and bobs. And he was saying something about like, it's such a sad state of affairs, today's gaming journalism. Like, obviously, they're not all the same, but you take IGN as one of the bigger and well-known ones, and I can't help but agree with Shady more and more. It's just, you look back in the day where it was just honest journalism. You didn't have social media. You didn't have Twitter and Facebook and all these different things. It was just articles in a magazine you subscribed to once a month, and it was just honesty. It was honest journalism. You went out of your way to purchase the magazine that gave you the best information. So every journalist who put their pit and their thoughts and their feelings into a magazine, it was well researched. It was thorough. It was true. It was like the better, like that's the only way I can put it. Now it is literally like you said, Boom, hashtag what can I do for clicks? Like it's no secret IGN have been leaning towards PlayStation this whole gen, and anyone who says otherwise need to just fucking go back under that rock you've been living in. But to be so unsubtle about it, it's crazy. That's literally like a reviewer who goes to see the premiere of Avengers Endgame openly admitting that he doesn't like Marvel and prefers DC. It's like, hold on. Like, why are you reviewing a Marvel movie if you've openly admitted you don't even like it? And you're
it makes no sense.
I know,
makes no sense.
Honestly, it blows my mind. The unsubtlety, the clear bias, and the unprofessionalism. I rest my case, man. Like, I don't know if that was like the loud, screaming, regular Welsh rant you.
No, but you brought good points, and that's what matters.
I got nothing more to say, man. I'd love to hear what Shady and Zemi have to say on the matter.
You know, and speaking of Shady, look, here's my thing. You know, this poll came out, and I've actually had people write to me, like, I don't understand. It's just a poll. Why do you care? Well, I care because it wasn't the poll. It was the timing of the poll. Okay, my question to, and I've said this to numerous people, and I'll say it to everybody in the chat, and anyone's going to listen on the replay. Where's the poll that says how many IGN readers are disappointed / disgusted that Sony skipped E3? Where's that poll?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, not showing up is a cop out. I'm sorry, and you know what? I will not hold up Shady's rant. Shady, what do you? Well, first of all, I want you to elaborate on 2 points, because you read it yourself, you saw it yourself. What this poll really meant to gaming journalism as a whole, which was shit, and the second one was the attack on Brad Sams.
Yeah, the first one, man, like the whole poll, like the media, quote unquote media today, is so disconnected from actual gamers and like the industry. They will burn all that shit down if they think there's $1 in it for them.
Yeah,
they're not here to inform you properly. They don't do their due diligence. The people reviewing games so often are horrendous at said games. I mean, the example with the Cuphead guy reviewing it, and he couldn't get over the first jump in the tutorial and was slamming the game for it. The outcry for easy modes in games, on and on. These people just aren't gamers by and large, yet they have the job that gives them the opinion that so many people just hold up as fact. This is the way it is because it said so on IGN, the ignorant network. You know what, Boom? I mean, cussing out IGN and some of the people that work there and what goes on is actually what landed me on your doorstep, bud.
Really?
Was doing exactly that, was calling out that company and the people involved, and the people I worked with previous did not like it. Too much drama. You don't do that. You don't do that stuff. Whereas IGN, they're getting away with basically murder, in my opinion, right now. I used to really enjoy the site like a decade ago, and it wasn't because it was slanted Xbox. It was because I felt it was more honest. There was more true gamers that worked there. They've all fled the coop. There's been such a turnover in their front-facing staff. I can only imagine what's happened behind the scenes. I find their site and many, many, many other sites just like them are all there for just click revenue. That's all it is. I'm not here to defend their business practices. I'm not making money off of it. I do not like it at all. I think it's disgusting. Like you said, Sony not showing up to E3 this year. It is undoubtedly the biggest gaming show of the year, every single year for 25 plus years. Like it's an absolute slap to the face of all video game fans. I'm not the biggest Sony fan in the world. I have a PlayStation. I look forward to their conference every single year so I can see if their exclusives are going to be bringing what I'm looking for this time and what's up with the third parties. Like, we're getting at least a 90-minute show less this E3 where we get to watch and enjoy game reveals and news because Sony decided to hell with it. We're taking it off because we're going to lay low. Like, I think it's an absolute embarrassment. If Xbox had done this, IGN would be non-stop slander, just basically like Xbox is done. Like, they were running how many articles about the floor space that Xbox had last year being small?
That's a great point, Shady.
The floor space was too small last year, and they had how many articles? And this year, there's zero floor space. None for Sony. And instead we have, hey guys, are you excited for the PlayStation 5 fucking surveys? It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. I mean, the whoever that front-facing girl is that gives all the daily fixes, you know, the eye candy. This site will honestly blast video games for depicting women over-sexualized, and then every other week they have her wearing a dress so low cut I can see her belly button. It's just embarrassing, dude. It's so embarrassing. It makes me sick. The amount of people that prop up what they say makes me almost even more sick. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. It's not just their site. It's the general media. Like I said before the show, when I was younger, those magazines were fantastic. They were there to inform me as a gamer and to get me excited. They weren't shilling for these companies. Every game wasn't a 9 out of 10. They informed me what the game was about, and I got excited. Now, article after article is outrageous critiques, over the top, just triggering for no reason, calling games out on the one flaw that it has when the rest of it is great. Like, they're out to hate.
Yeah.
And I just can't support it anymore. That's not what I'm about. That's not why I'm in this damn community either. I have issues with many, many things, but I'll say what they are, and then I'll get on with what I enjoy. I'll get on with why I got past those issues and what I liked about the damn games, why I'm excited about this industry. These are video games. I'm here to have fun, not get triggered, not lose my mind, not call out other gamers because they chose the wrong piece of plastic, quote unquote. We all have more in common than we have like differences when it comes to video games. We love games so passionately. We're going to argue with each other over which piece of plastic is sitting under our TV. It's insane. It's ridiculous, really. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
If you like games, I support you. Just be respectable to each other, man. Like, I think those walls are coming down as well, which is going to help big time. Like big time when Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are playing a little bit nicer together. I think that'll help a lot. And I'm excited for the future of gaming. I am beyond excited for E3 this week. Shame on Sony for not being there. Shame on IGN and other media sites for not hitting them as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Letting them know that this is we're not going to stand for this.
Right,
you better be there next year, or don't release another system, damn it, because you don't care enough. Like, come on.
That's great. Really,
I think it's insane.
Really well said,
my
dude.
Welsh rant look like a child's
anthem,
mate. That was outstanding.
Boom, that's the rant that you were looking for, man.
Yeah,
well,
that's done with class and information. Yeah,
I'll keep the Brad Sam's part quick, man.
Shady. Told you should have led with Shady.
It was the same girl. She didn't have her belly button showing and the low cut dress this time, but they literally did. They dragged Brad Sams through the mud. They had rumors for E3, and we're gonna give it a yay, or it wasn't even a nay. I forgot what the word they used was. It was a terrible word. It was like, and the rumor was Halo was going to announce a battle royale, and instantly she just, Brad Sams said that it was going to do this, but instantly 343 said they're not going to make one. I mean, hey, look, what's that other team of 100 devs making, IGN? Use your clout and money to start digging and finding out what this other team of 100 people is building alongside Halo Infinite. What is it? Instead, they were so quick to throw a YouTuber under the bus, just in case. I don't know, like, I can't stand it. I really hope to the gaming god, RN Jesus, all hail, that Halo has a battle royale almost only so Brad Sams can be right, and because of what IGN said, make them look all the more stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I want a Halo Battle Royale, is just so IGN can look even more dumb, and Brad Sams, a good dude, someone who's here for the community, man, can look all the better. Because I think there's a Battle Royale coming as well. At least I'm willing to ask the question of what is this other team doing that they've admitted they're working with and has full access to all assets? Ask the question, IGN. They never do. They never do. It's like a knee-jerk reaction, or either like a Palpatine sitting in his chair plotting how to just manipulate people's opinions and get the most clicks possible. It's got to go. Something has to change. If it's a boycott, so be it, man. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of the news comes from, is these sites. But I try my damnedest to not give them a penny as far as ad revenue goes. I don't like sharing their videos. I do not talk good about them. There's nothing good to talk about. It's a nightmare out there, and someone has to come to the rescue. I don't know who it is, man, but man, we need someone to just come out and bring reporting back. I want reporters that bring me the news. I don't want a secret marketing arm of Sony Entertainment. I don't. Or Microsoft, for that matter, or Nintendo, or anybody. Just give me honest reporting from here on out, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a shame because I had a lot of respect for Pierre Schneider, who runs, at least the last time I checked, runs IGN. He was always a guy I thought had journalistic integrity, and it seems as if, I mean, look, the last time I think that there was actually quality work coming out of IGN was when Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty were there, and they were employed by IGN. And since they left, they have lost so much significant talent regarding just anyone has left that building. And I don't know if they're millennials. I don't know if they're just people who went and got a degree and don't even like gaming and just writing about it because it's a job. I'm not sure. But Zemi, I want to get to your opinion on this. Obviously, we've said a lot, but I still want to hear what you had. And I know Tho67 keeps saying, talk about Halo Infinite. Hey, bud, listen, brother. We talked about Halo Infinite for almost 60 minutes. So the best thing I can tell is wait for the show to finish, and you're going to be in for a real treat. So tune in after the show goes off so you can rewind it back, because we talked Halo Infinite, significant a part of today's episode. But Zemi, in your opinion, we're not saying every piece of media is biased. We're not attacking the media, because I went on a bit of a tirade of how I gave my top 5 sites that I go to that I think are fantastic media sites. IGN is certainly not one of them. What you've seen them do with this poll, what you've seen them do to Brad Sams. What are your opinions on this, dude?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that this is an excellent example and really highlights what's going wrong with not only IGN, but with a lot of these bigger gaming media companies. And before I absolutely, roast them, and I'm not going to do that or anything, but, I will say in somewhat of their defense, this could be a faux pas. This could be one reporter who didn't really understand that E3 is about to happen and Xbox is building all this momentum, and humans make mistakes, and that could be what's it. But I definitely think it's more likely that one of the writers or some of the writers are very, very salty with the hype that Xbox is building, and they just want to get clicks and by low-key crapping on Xbox. I think that that's really probably more likely than it being a faux pas. But I think this is really, this is what you get. There's people who cover news, and there's people who do it for the community, and then there's people who do it for money. And all these big companies are doing it for money, and that's the difference that you get. And I mean, in my personal opinion, the best place to get your news is from a trusted YouTuber that you've watched his content, you fact checked him, and he's a good YouTuber and he does a good job reporting, the news and doing game reviews and stuff. I think that is the best way to receive your gaming news in 2019. But, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't like it. I don't think it's going to probably change anytime soon, unfortunately. I really wish that, that they would be a little bit less, unbiased. I don't have a problem necessarily with the fact that they wrote that article and they created that article, so long as there was a poll and that's what the poll, showed. And I mean, and that's not surprising numbers. I mean, there's 90 million people, 90 million PlayStation 4s that were purchased, roughly 30 million Xbox Ones that were purchased. And I mean, so that's not a shocking number, but what makes the difference is write a story talking about PlayStation, how PlayStation is, how you're excited about it, what they're doing that you like, what they're doing that you don't like, but then also write articles about Xbox, because IGN isn't just a PlayStation website, like Welsh was saying. And, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with just a PlayStation website. There's nothing wrong with just an Xbox website, but they are, they cover multiple platforms, and they need to deliver the news on an even playing field and very unbiased. I mean, there's very few articles talking about how, Sony's technology is crap, and that's why they're having to reach out to Microsoft to use their Azure servers, you know. And I mean,
Right.
and a lot of these hardcore Sony fans, they fail to remember that, you know, Microsoft didn't have to say yes to Sony. Yeah, you can use our Azure server, we'll help you out. And I understand that Microsoft is making probably a crap ton of money on that, but you know, in the old way of doing things, I don't think Microsoft would have done that, because why would they want to help their competition? But Microsoft did. And I mean, of course, they're making money off of it. But I think that that's a lot of things that a lot of people are failing to remember, is that Microsoft is not an evil company that's trying to rip money from people, and they're not trying to screw over fans or anything like that. They are doing amazing work in the industry, and none of it, very little of it's really getting reported on. You know, whenever they released the Xbox adaptive controller that allows people with disabilities and whatnot to be able to play games, you know, there wasn't nearly enough articles covering that. There really wasn't. And I think that that's a shame. You know,
yeah, I mean, it just won one of the biggest awards you could win for an actual device, and no one talked about it.
yeah, I mean, and that's just a shame. I mean, it's, you know, everyone is just all over PlayStation. You know, PlayStation's literally doing, I mean, nothing, and everyone's cheering. Xbox is killing it out there, and everyone's booing. It makes no sense. And you know, I mentioned this, you know, the last one of the episodes of Breakfast with Boom. I covered this a little bit, and this is one of my biggest fears, right? Was that Xbox is going to go, you know, to E3, and they might possibly not communicate their ideas as effectively as what they want to, and the media is just going to jump on it and just smash them. You know, that's probably one of my biggest fears going into this E3, because it's so important for Xbox. Xbox has all the eyes on them, and there is a lot of people in the media and, you know, big media companies that just want to just absolutely just destroy you know, Xbox, and just, you know, write, you know, catchy articles to make people think that they're failing as a company. And so that's probably, you know, that's my biggest fear. And I think that I'm going to end it on that. And hopefully Xbox doesn't, you know, goes out and just knocks it out. You know, and I think that's what they're going to do.
No,
Well said, dude.
yeah, that's
Well
actually
said.
good, Zemi. That was a great, you know, politically correct rant. I like what you had to say, and you know, obviously, look. Here's the thing: if you think that there's no media bias, I'm not going to argue with you. You're entitled to your opinion, but this is a perfect example that there is. I don't think it could be any more clear that, you know, this to me.
I'll argue with these people. Give me an hour, and I'll present you about 100 examples from this probably 2018 and 2019 alone, let alone
Right.
going back all the way to 2013. It's a fool's game, man. There has been a bias, the same way there was a bias for 360 last gen. People need to wake the fuck up. Carry on, Boom. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's well said. I mean, it's these are hit pieces, and what makes it worse is that these hit pieces come on the eve of here they are. Here the fire engines again, boy. I tell you, man, this podcast is smoking.
No, I know what you're about to say, though, man. It just falls into what we've all said for however long this topic has lasted so far. Like, it's not even so much the context of what they've said. Like, if they wanted to do an article about how excited they are about PlayStation 5, I say go ahead. What's the harm in that? It's the fact that how they've done it, the manner of how they've done it, and how aggressive they've done it, days shy of Xbox's E3 when PlayStation isn't even there. It is so obviously desperate in the most desperate ex-girlfriend kind of way. They're literally just trying to clutch at straws, like, oh, please think about PlayStation. Because as we've said before, as Zemi said 2 topics ago, all eyes are on Xbox. No one's thinking about PlayStation right now.
You go through the comment section there,
Yeah.
Welsh Story, and you go through their comment sections about their videos and what's happening with E3, and they do say, which Sony has decided to sit this show out entirely. In the comment section, the IGN audience, the amount of people that have no idea that Sony wasn't going to show up is insane. I very much doubt this is the first video they're clicking on from IGN. They are IGN readers or watchers, and they had no idea Sony wasn't going, because IGN has done a shit poor job of letting the gamers know that go to their site that one of the biggest companies, arguably the industry leader at the moment, isn't going to the biggest show. They wouldn't pass that off as news. Instead, it was damage control left, damage control right. Have you bought your PlayStation yet? It's insane.
Absolutely, mate. Amen. I can't. Boom. I can't say any more than that. That's just excellent. That is too accurate. It's too accurate.
I mean, listen, I'm going to say this, and we're going to move on to the next topic. What this proved to me is how much IGN lacks class and professionalism. And I'm going to close it out with that because I think that they're a classless organization led by someone I had a tremendous amount of respect in the form of Pierre Schneider, who I no longer consider an actual journalist. And I'm very disappointed that he has allowed his brand to go this far, to sink this low over whatever Sony is paying them. Maybe they just want to mess with their feathers, get them all in a bunch. I don't know, but it's bad reporting. You should have more control over your writers and hit pieces around E3 on Microsoft, who's going to be there in a big way. It really does send a message that you don't give a shit about the Xbox audience, that you would rather cater to your PlayStation community, and that's fine. It's your business, but it is a shame. But I want to move on to the next topic. Anyone that follows me or subscribes to Double Barrel Gaming knows that I'm an old school cat who grew up with platformers. And with that said, the words Banjo Kazooie literally bring a smile to my face, as it's doing right now while I'm on the microphone. And it has been 11 years since Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was released on the Xbox 360. And in a story that I pulled from Game Rant, they're reporting that there's a hot new rumor that Banjo Kazooie will, in fact, be one of those 14 games announced at this year's E3. And this rumor stems from tweets from a company called Exquisite Gaming. They're a company that makes merch that includes figures, largely of video game brands, and are really excellent quality pieces. Now, this in response to a Twitter user posting a meme about E3, the company shared a sneak peek of a new Banjo Kazooie figure. And here is what Exquisite Games had to say. We can't wait to bring back Banjo, not long until we officially announce. Now, this rumor starts to take shape in another tweet from another user who noted a pattern of where Exquisite Gaming has released new figures to coincide with game releases very recently. They did that for Spyro, the Spyro Reignited trilogy. They did that for the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. And listen, I'm not a lawyer, but if I was, I'd say, well, I rest my case. Now, the fire continues to burn, where a Twitter user, Papa Genos, asked this question. Yeah, I've heard they tend to coincide with stuff for characters. Crash with Trilogy, Sonic with Mania, Spyro with Reignited, Iron Man with Endgame. So maybe Banjo-Kazooie with a question mark. And here was Exquisite Gaming's response. We couldn't possibly say exclamation point. Well, look, folks, I'm not a genius by any stretch of the truth, but I think that this rumor of Banjo-Kazooie has been floating around for a while. Rare Studios has been rumored to be working on it, pretty much confirmed they're working on a second game. Now, I don't know if it's this. I want to go to the panel. First of all, Drew, do you think that the world needs a new Banjo-Kazooie, and do you think that this evidence that I have presented in a very good fashion, in my opinion, pretty much just says that, yeah, we're getting a new Banjo-Kazooie?
I certainly hope so, and I think there's a lot of evidence supporting that there's going to be a Banjo themed something, whether it be a full-on IP of its own or as a guest star appearance. Because on one of the, I think it was the Shinobi.
Yes, Shinobi 602. Yes.
Yeah, he said something of the effect of like being a while since we saw Banjo in anything. Hope we're in for a smashing good time. So that, obviously that's just one comment from one dude, and that, I wouldn't put all your eggs into one basket.
He's been right before. When he drops hints like that, he's usually spot on, though.
Well, okay. Well, I'll give him his props. I'll trust your instinct on that one. But from that says to me that there's going to be a Banjo character, like an announcement. Banjo's going to be in Super Smash Bros. Or something of that nature. But the other things that have come to mind is obviously a Banjo Kazooie reboot, which we're all hungry to see. But also, I think it was you and Shady were talking about it on the Xbox Factor the other week when in my absence about an Xbox All-Stars kart racer.
Oh yeah, I really want that, dude. Like I really want that.
Maybe Banjo will be the face of that game. Maybe that's how he'll make his entrance. He'll be like, "Yo, I'm going to be in this game." Another one, it could be maybe. We've seen it with Ram. We've seen it with Arbiter. We've seen it with the frickin' Battletoads character. What's to say that Banjo couldn't appear in Killer Instinct as a fightable character? Like, they don't take themselves too seriously over there. And I'm just falling into the whole. It's been a while since we saw Banjo in anything. Like, he's obviously been quite cryptic. It kind of opens things up. But to be honest, though, Boom, without trying to be detective bloody Sherlock Holmes over here or Inspector Gadget, I do genuinely think we are going to see a Banjo return in some fashion, whether it be in Super Smash Bros. Or any of the ones I mentioned. But I strongly think we're going to see an actual Banjo reboot. And I think the evidence supports it. It's been talked about, hinted at. You've got people like this Shinobi who you say, and I trust your instinct, is a very reliable source. I'm fully expecting something shown at E3 in some capacity for sure.
Yeah, it would be great. It really would, simply because, look, when you talk about a brand, when you talk about a platform, Microsoft is notorious for wanting all games for all gamers. And I really do dig that about the company. It's what probably attracts me, where it's not just one type of game. And I think that, when you talk about Xbox, I think of family. Simply because many people in this chat, many people on this panel, I consider to be family members, even though we've never met in real life. That's just the kind of dude I am. So I think that, Xbox should appeal not just to people who are, it shouldn't be just a shooter box. It shouldn't be just the box that has chainsaws and energy swords and, stuff like that. We need a more kid-friendly, practice. And right. I think the way that you can do that, I mean, this isn't Nintendo, we understand that, but at the same time, they do have, Banjo Kazooie, they do have Conker. They, you know what I'm saying? And Conker's a little bit more adult because he's nasty, but they do. Platformers still have a place in this world. I'm sorry, and obviously, I said this on one of the earlier Xbox Factor podcasts. I think that that if they don't want Rare to do it, and Rare has something else up their sleeve, purchase the Playful Corp. Let the people that made Super Lucky's Tale make the next Banjo Kazooie. Now that could be happening, and it could be an announcement. I don't know, but I think they would be good for the job. Shady, I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think that it's time? This is a timeless classic. This is an IP. This is a very popular IP by Rare. Do you think that the world needs a Banjo Kazooie right now?
One more thing about IGN, goddammit. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, with Banjo is big. I've always enjoyed Banjo. I like platformers. They've been big for me. I've been gaming since the mid-'80s, so platformers are huge. They're big time nostalgia for me. I like when they're done well, especially, and Banjo was one of them. I really actually enjoyed Nuts and Bolts. I got a lot of hate, especially because of that building mechanic. I don't want to build vehicles with all the tools.
You just want to collect puzzle pieces. That's it.
Like, all right, that's fine for some people. I thought that building stuff was really cool. It was really cool. You could make some insane vehicles, like full-on multi-stage rocket that separates into a glider in the like. You could go all out. It was up to your creativity. I think a lot of people's issues with that was the same thing where if I just lead a kid to a sandbox and don't tell them to actually build a castle, a lot of kids won't. They'll just sit in the dirt. They'll sit in the sand like, what am I supposed to do? If you just drop a bunch of Lego bricks in front of a lot of people today, they don't know what to do. They need an instruction manual that tells them how to build the spaceship. Otherwise, they're not building squat. And I think that's a shame. Not everyone is creative at the end of the day in that aspect. That's fine. But I like that part of Banjo. And I thought the game was really, really pretty at the time. I liked the water in that, the grass, the fur on the characters looked great. I
Yeah.
thought it was a really fun game. I liked it, man. I tried to stack as many of those puzzle pieces onto my cart as I could. I was reeling around with like a dozen plus. It's flopping all over the place. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So it's been a long time since we've seen the character, well, at all, let alone in his own game. I think the time is now. Like you guys mentioned, there are young gamers out there, people. I used to be one of them. Everyone here used to be one of them. Try and look outside of your modern self now and think about the people today or the parents that are struggling to find a good quality title for their children if they're an Xbox only house, let's say, and it's not Halo, it's not going to be Gears of War. So why not maybe Banjo Kazooie, which is a step above on the challenging gameplay aspect in the past anyways, above Super Lucky's Tale. Super Lucky's Tale is a nice entry-level platformer. Banjo Kazooie, if you wanted 100% those games, you need to be pretty skilled at a platformer game. That's the next level. We need to have games for this young generation to play. Otherwise, gaming, I mean, the AAA gaming especially, it's going to die with us because the young guys never got a chance to get into it, get their hands attuned to holding the controllers, build up their skill before they dive into the more mature AAA titles. I think there's a definite market for it. I'm tired of everyone screaming at Xbox, especially because a lot of their games have cartoon graphics. It doesn't matter. What games were these guys playing 20 years ago that didn't have cartoon graphics?
Exactly.
Cartoon graphics have been the staple for video games for longer than they haven't. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. The biggest games in the world currently use those game design, those techniques, those graphics, that look, and they're very successful for it because it appeals to more people. You know, the real world is the real world. I don't need every single video game that I play to try and emulate it on all fronts at all times. I'm impressed when the games out there do it. I don't need it from everyone. I can have fun with a cartoon game just as much as I can have fun with a gritty, super realistic Gorno of a game, if you will. So there is a market for it. Bring it on. It would be really cool to see it in Smash. I was going to save this one for the end because it is so out there, but I think would be amazing to see is right now, this is my build up to it. Right now on the Nintendo store, the number 2 selling games, 1 and 2, are both Cuphead and Minecraft. 2 Xbox games are selling the most copies currently on a Nintendo platform. Nintendo sees this. Xbox is, of course, seeing this. They're making money. Nintendo's making money. Switch has already sold, you know, all that it has as far as Smash Brothers goes. I think it's done like 16 million copies of Smash on the Switch. What if when Banjo goes to the Switch, Nintendo lets Smash Bros come to the Xbox platform so they can sell another 10 million
would melt.
or another
The internet
8
would
million
break.
units, right? Because it's done what it's going to do. The damage is done on Switch. It's going to get a second life. Cuphead have and Minecraft has over on the Switch platform. Microsoft made the example by putting out that olive branch. Hey guys, here's my games. Maybe Nintendo's willing to play ball. That was one of my end game here, end of the show predictions, but I'm going to bring it out now just because of the relevance with Banjo and Smash. What if that's the thing? It's not just him going to Smash, but Smash coming to the Xbox. And of course, he's going to be the, you know, the lead character on our version, if you will. I think that would be amazing. I really don't know if it's going to happen. I doubt it. But hey, man, these companies are starting to play ball a little bit with each other. They're starting to talk in a lot more friendly terms in regards to each other. My God, Sony even says the name Xbox and Nintendo now, not even just other platform.
Yes,
You
that's
never know what might happen, man. You never know what might happen. But I think that would be insane if it doesn't, and it's just the character in Smash. By all means, Nintendo fans love Banjo Kazooie. They have a nostalgia for that character as well. So it would just be a nice thing. And it brings Xbox relevancy to a different market. Bring it on.
No, I mean, I think it's going to work. It's going to be a two-way street because should Banjo Kazooie go to Smash, which is pretty much what I think is going to happen, and I think Phil Spencer is going to walk out on the on stage during the Nintendo Treehouse event, which is the live portion of their E3, and announce it with Bowser, their new CEO. I think that when you do that, you allow Banjo Kazooie to be, seen and played with on Smash Brothers. If in fact there is a new Banjo Kazooie game, those Smash players will be like, well, wait a second, I enjoy playing Smash with Banjo Kazooie, but I get to play a whole game with him.
Yeah.
I may go buy an Xbox now. So it's gonna be a two-way street, I think. Zemi, I want to get your final opinion on this. You know, Banjo Kazooie, obviously, it's a classic rare character. We've all discussed how we believe that does have significance in in this generation of gaming. For you, would you like to see a new one?
I would, but I probably wouldn't play it.
Okay.
I don't like platformers anymore. That's just not what I like. I mean, the last time I played Banjo Kazooie, it was back on the N64. I don't even know how old I was. But I thoroughly enjoyed the game. And to be honest with you, if a new one came out, I wouldn't buy it on release. I would either wait for a sale or I would just watch someone play it.
Or I would go to Game Pass, and if you have Game Pass, you play it there.
Well, that is true. That is true. I didn't think of that, but that's my Xbox is great, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, but honestly, it's not really my type of game anymore. But I really do hope that it does come true because there's just not enough good, safe games out there for kids, especially on the Xbox. I mean, Super Lucky's Tale was fantastic, but there's just not enough of those types of games that really come out. And so I think it'd be fantastic to see another Banjo Kazooie game because I mean not only the children, but I mean a lot of older people like you, like people like me that played a lot more Banjo Kazooie. They're gonna love jumping into that world again and re-exploring everything and seeing everything that's new. But honestly, one of my biggest hopes is that whenever the game on launch, whenever it comes out, I really hope that it comes to the Switch. I really hope it's not a exclusive because I mean there's so many Nintendo people that absolutely love Banjo Kazooie, and back in the day the games released both on Xbox and Nintendo, and so just for fan service I would love to see them on launch release it on the Nintendo, and it could possibly hurt Xbox sales, but I don't know. I think I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I know a lot of people will be like, well, whoa, hold on a sec, Xbox exclusives. Listen, folks, you have to understand something. Console sales.
Software is king.
Yeah, software is where you make your money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And another thing, too, is, there was rumors talking about how Game Pass is going to come to the Switch. And I still think that has a very good chance of happening. And then, I actually just looked it up in March. There was a bunch of articles talking about how it, how it might not happen. But I hope it does. And if it does, I mean, just release it on Game Pass. That way people can subscribe to Game Pass and play it on their Switch,
Yeah, well, game sales and software sales and services are what makes money. End of story. Anyone that thinks otherwise, just look how much money they're making off of an Xbox or a PlayStation. It's not a lot.
I'll say this, though. It seems as though Xbox is true to their word when it comes to the whole... Not that they've outwardly said it, so actually what I just said is completely wrong. But they've more or less, without actually saying it, they're all about building bridges, not burning them. I mean, like this whole partnership when it came to the Fortnite crossplay, that pretty much started it. Then the whole Game Pass, xCloud, Play Anywhere, shifting over to Nintendo Switch, being one of the mobile options for the Xbox that was floating about. I don't know if there's much stock in that, but that was definitely a hard-hitting rumor for a few months back, like last year. But there's good partnership, good friendship between those two. And then obviously now with Sony, of all people, actually shaking hands and using the Azure servers over at Microsoft, I just see a really, like, despite the fanboys, the hatred, the console wars, that shit is absolutely irrelevant. When it comes to business and moving forward with the times, I see a bright future for gaming when it comes to these platforms. I can honestly say, as wrong as I might or might not be, I can see a potential future in gaming where everyone's just happy.
Yeah, like, it could very well be. No, it's a great point.
Oh man, want a game on Gears? Yeah, sure. Hit you up in a party, regardless of what platform you're on. Like, regardless of what device you're on. There's no...
What? Kind of like movies where we can all enjoy a Blu-ray and I'm not grilling you because you're watching it on a Samsung Blu-ray player and not a Sony Blu-ray player or a Toshiba. Like, no one cares what player.
Exactly.
I would love to get to that in gaming. I would love it.
Another thing,
Absolutely.
another thing as well, though, is, you know, a lot of these consoles, whenever they get released, whenever they start selling out, they, you know, Microsoft, Sony, they lose money on the console sale. You know what I mean? It's not like they're making money on the console. Where they're making money is through the software and through the memberships and stuff like that. And so if you offer your games on every single platform, I mean, you're still going to make money. You're going to make more money probably.
Dude,
I mean, there's 90 million people on PlayStation, and Xbox can't get any of that money because, you know, they don't publish their games on there.
Like, dude, exactly. You've got Xbox Game Studios, you've got Sony Interactive Entertainment, and then you've got Nintendo. If all those three companies just put their heads together and was like, right, we're not saying let's circle jerk one another, but if we just allow each other's games to accommodate the other man's system, we're all going to make $1 or $2. Because even if I'm playing Uncharted 4 on my Xbox, Sony's making money.
Yep.
If some Sony dude is playing Gears 5 on his PlayStation, Xbox is making money. If I'm playing Mario, Sony guy playing Mario, Zelda, Nintendo's making money. It's all about software. And I know Xbox knows this. And like Shady said, it's the same with movies. No one's getting shot in the ass because they're watching Netflix on a Samsung TV and not a Panasonic TV. Or it's when it gets to gaming, man, everyone will be bloody shaking hands, building bridges. It'll be harmonic.
Well, another thing. Oh, go. You want to go, Sony or Shady?
I was just going to say that, you know, even if these games came out a little bit delayed on these other systems, like what's happened now with Cuphead, it has seen massive success on the Switch, and it came out a year later. If that's what exclusives started to do, that would be awesome. Gears comes out on Xbox platforms first, and then it launches on Sony and Nintendo 6 months or a year later. And if you want it right now at launch, you need to have an Xbox. If you're willing to wait, you can have the others. And if Sony was willing to do it and Nintendo was willing to do it, as a gamer, I could play on the system of my choice and have all the games. The money that I buy multiple systems with, which is redundant, could go towards buying even more games, which these companies make even more profit off of, as opposed to the systems anyways. So, like, it's a win-win-win-win all around. These barriers got to go.
Well, it's also going to make the games themselves better as well. I mean, because you got to think, right? The only place to play Halo is on the Xbox, right? Well, hopefully here on the PC as well, right? PlayStation, I mean, they have some exclusive first-person shooters, but it's not really a whole lot. But what they do have will then have to get better to be able to compete with Halo. And same thing with, Xbox, if they start releasing narrative story-driven games, their games are going to have to get a whole lot better to help compete with PlayStation. So we're going to see a lot more quality in the games that are getting made, because there's a lot more competition that otherwise wasn't there before.
And that's a great point, dude. That's actually a really good point. And you know what? What I want to do is, this next part of the show is, I think, going to be considered the most exciting part, because the chat's going to be involved in a big way. And this is where the chat, as well as, of course, my esteemed panel, is going to give their top 5 games or announcements that they're predicting is going to go. That's going to happen in just a couple of days. I'm going to start with the Welsh Gamer. What are your 5 predictions that are going to happen? It doesn't matter how outrageous. They're your predictions. They're your choices. Take it away, dude.
I'll be honest. Like, this might be quite conservative, but still, I don't care. These are the things that I predict, expect, want to see, however you want to put it. But at number 1, in no particular order, I have on the Xbox's, on Microsoft's E3 stage, at number 1, I have the obvious one. I've already said it before, but what are the new acquisitions working on? That goes for Ninja Theory, Rare, Initiative, and Playground. I want to see clear as day, whether it be a man just speaking all the way to a 10-minute gameplay sequence, whatever it is, I want to just see a nod. That's number 1. Number 2, I have a strong third-party presence due to Sony's absence. And what would be cool is if Splinter Cell was leading the charge with that one. Like a big nod to Splinter Cell, like just to lead the, because for a fact, like Modern Warfare, the new COD has just dropped recently. What's to say that, because COD's primarily, or at least has been for a few years, being over on the PlayStation stage, but PlayStation ain't there. They're going to want to show off their new COD, I imagine. Why the hell not use Xbox's stage? I just hope that there's a huge third-party presence. So all these people out there, who are ignorant to the fact that a lot of these games are not in fact exclusive to one platform. They are on multiple platforms. They can have a bit of a rude awakening. It can be like, oh wow, Xbox actually does have a lot of these games, and they look better on this system. Wow, I might have been drinking from the wrong punch. Honestly, man. Right, number 3, I have at least 2 or 3, and I'm greedy, or more studio acquisitions. Maybe even, if we're very lucky, as unlikely as it may seem, a teaser for one of them, one of the 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever. But I'm leaning more towards the 2 or 3 mark. I do expect to see some more acquisitions. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of chat, and it'd be nice if one of them or more of them have a little trailer or a tease or some sort of nod to what they're working on as well, just to give it an extra spice. Again, pushing that narrative. Don't be afraid to show what's in the future. At number 4, I have Xbox Game Pass, the xCloud, and the Play Anywhere initiative, a full presentation concept trailer. No more than a 10-minute presentation of Google Stadia crushing demonstrations via a presentation, showing the world who came up with this idea first and who has the more superior options for the future of gaming. That's not a me shooting down to Google Stadia, but the first thing I thought when Google Stadia revealed what they were doing all those months ago was, hell, that's like a cheap version of what Xbox is doing. And number 5, finally, on my list of 5, last but not least, the Xbox Scarlet Family teaser, reveal, and spec details. So a lot like Project Scorpio, as it was announced at that time, like a silhouette of the box. Maybe if they want to go all out and unveil it like they did with the OG with a bloody blanket, I don't care. I just want to see a reveal, a tease, and all the specs. But very important, no price tag yet.
Yeah, no, they have to hold that. They have to hold that card close to their vests. They really do.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised, as there is another E3 between now and the launch.
Let Sony go first next year, then drop the price. That's what I would do.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. So, but those are my 5 things. Some of them are a little out there, most of them quite conservative, but I'd be very happy if those 5 things were on that stage, and anything more is a bonus in my books.
Yeah, no, that was a fantastic list, dude.
The thing is, we know Halo and Gears and all that is on our way, so I'm excited for all that. I was just thinking outside the box, things that we don't already know are definitely going to be there. So,
well, that's where the predictions come in, dude. Great list. Real quick, before I get to So Shady, LMNOP in the chat drops an outstanding $10 super chat. He says, good afternoon. In the past, E3's message used to be empowering developers to make the games we only dreamed of playing. What message does Xbox need to drive to the gamer today? Is it choice? That's actually a fantastic question, and I believe that you've answered your own question. Yes, choice, I think, is the real answer, what they're going to be doing here. Choice for anyone that wants to play anywhere at any time on any device. And I think that's really what they're trying to drive home. I think Project xCloud is going to crush Stadia, regardless of whatever was talked about while the show was going on. I'm going to watch it after this show. And I think that, there's a reason why Sony came to use the Azure servers, and it's why that Nintendo is eventually going to come and use the Azure servers. And it's the xCloud, as we know, currently plays 3,500 games. All 3 generations of Xbox are playable on this virtual system that we don't have yet. And that's pretty damn amazing. So Shady, I want to get your top 5 predictions for E3 2019 for the Xbox.
All right, man. My first prediction is it's going to be dark. The lights are going to come up. Some badass music's going to hit. Phil Dominus Spencer. He's going to strut out on stage with the fellow presidents from both Sony and Nintendo. I'm talking Jim Ryan and Doug Bowser on the end of a leash, and he's gonna make them bend the knee. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I love it.
I would love to see all 3 of those guys come out on stage together and announce that they have a unified multiplayer plan. So all of our multi-platform games will be cross progression, cross play going forward. They will all be using the Azure dedicated servers to just up the quality of multiplayer across the console industry as a whole. I would love to see that happen. I think it would be fantastic news. That would be a great partnership to see, and I'm hoping for it. I really am, and it sounds like we might get something along those lines. Sony has said they're working with Azure, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo does. So let's hope that it's true, and all of our multiplayer just becomes way more integrated and smoother. I also Killer Instinct 2. I would love to see another Killer Instinct. My God, it's my favorite fighter of all time. I love it. This is my favorite Killer Instinct of all time is the one that's on the Xbox One. So I'm really excited to see what they could do with a sequel. And then a Gears 5 beta announcement that maybe even launched, like, available now. That would bring the roof down if we got a chance to try out Gears 5 like right away. Even if we had to wait a month even. I mean, I'm willing to. I think that the Gears 4 and even Halo 5 betas before them, they were like over a half year early, and they kind of came out in the summer before the holiday. So I'm expecting that kind of announcement, and I really hope it happens. A Halo BR, as I touched on earlier, I would love to see that just for personal reasons. I think that Halo would fit it great, and I'd like to see Brad Sams get the win on this one over the evil IGN. So I'd like to see that get announced, and then an out of nowhere announcement with Phil making multiple trips over to Japan and basically rebuilding some bridges, man. I'd like to see some work done again with Platinum Games and reveal a Vanquish 2. That was my favorite game from them.
That was rumored during E3 last year, dude.
That's right. So I'm hoping that that's still possibly a rumor, and a Vanquish 2 on modern tech would be just mind-blowing, because the things that game pulled off with last-gen technology today is impressive. I played it just a little while ago, and I was like, wow.
The game still looks amazing.
It's incredible. The physics, the speed. It's such a good third-person cover shooter. Anyone that hasn't checked it out, give it a look, man. It's so much fun. So that wraps up my top 5 hope to sees is Vanquish 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think you got to remember, one of the rumors is that one of the companies that Microsoft has already purchased is a Japanese-based company. And I'm not saying it's Platinum, but I'm saying that my call is that it's the makers of Ninja Gaiden. And I still think that's going to happen. But Zemi, before I get your top 5, brother, Nightwolf 3186 with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, "Boom, Shady, Welsh, Zemi. Thanks for making this community so enjoyable. Will you guys be doing an E3 reaction video after E3? Yes, I'm going to. We're going to try and get that done that evening, which is going to be Sunday evening. Obviously, I'm going to be in California, so if you're in the East Coast, it's going to be a little bit later. I hope I do get a good turnout. I'm going to be working with the guys behind the scene to see if we can, in fact, get that done, because for the Welsh gamer, it's really late. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. We may do it the next day. It may be early on Monday so we can get everybody in. But the same panel here today is I'm working to see if I can get them to do the post show, whether it's the Sunday evening or Monday morning. We're going to work on that. And thank you for the super chat. And Zemi, what are your top 5 predictions for E3 2019 for the Xbox platform?
Why'd it have to be 5?
Well, do you have more? I mean, if you have more, go crazy.
No. I'm probably gonna keep it to 5 unless I get really excited at the end. But so the first one's gonna be a Fable 4. I want to see Fable, and I want it to have a big 4 at the end of it. I would be happy with like a reimagining or a prequel, but I really, really, really want a continuation of the story. Because Halo got a 4, Gears got a 4, and I want Fable to get their 4.
Nice.
The second one is going to be a strong narrative first-party Xbox game, similar to like what PlayStation does, with like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Humans, Detroit Become Human. All those really, really strong narrative games. I would love to see at least one. Just one. That's all I want. Preferred to be developed by like Ninja Theory or possibly The Initiative, or maybe a Sobo Studios if they get acquired. And I would love to see a Quantum Break 2, but I would be happy with a brand new IP as well. The third one is I want to see Xbox get rid of their shady deal with Duracell. That shady deal. I'm telling you, it exists. I promise you. This is my conspiracy of the day. But I want to see the Xbox controller have a built-in battery. that does
Nice.
not require Duracells at all. Energizer, nothing. Like the Dollar General brand of batteries, I don't want any of that. I want a built-in battery into the controller, and hopefully we get something like that. I don't know if they're going to really announce too much of the console, but I really hope that we get that. If not, maybe next year. Number 4 is more talks of collaborations between Sony and Nintendo. I would love to see them, walk out on the stage and announce that, cross-play is going to be a thing. I would love to see them walk out on the stage and talk about how they're going to add Game Pass to like a Game Pass app to the PlayStation or, to Nintendo. I would really, really like to see that more collaboration. And then number 5, this doesn't really have to do, I guess, with the Microsoft stage. However, I guess it could happen on the Microsoft stage, is the announcement of the new leaked Harry Potter RPG game, because I'm like really into that.
That could actually be up on their stage, dude.
I really want that to be a thing. And I mean, you know what? I'm just going to continue. Number 6, I really, really want to see them walk out on the stage and say, xCloud, you remember us talking about that? It's available right now. Go download it on your phone. I would love to see that. I don't know if that's going to happen because they haven't really done a lot of.
Yeah, they're going to do the public trial in the fall.
Exactly. Yeah. But even if they just announced, well, you know what, the Xbox Insider, like the public beta, trial or whatever is going to happen right now.
That
you're
would
an
be
Xbox
cool.
Insider, go check it out. I would love to see that. And then, of course, I mean, obviously, I want to see them acquire a crap ton of studios. Whatever they be, like Asobo Studios, Remedy, anything. I mean, I just want to see more studios get acquired, and I want to hear a lot of brand new IPs.
Yeah, well, that's a great list, dude. I mean, everyone had really killer.
Can I just say one thing about Zemi's list?
Sure.
Everything, man. Respect you. Beautiful list. Can't take anything away from you. One thing I'm just gonna shoot down now with a 50 caliber rifle. God,
I know what it is. I know what it is.
The internal batteries. Get out of here with that.
Agreed.
No.
You cannot have it. No good.
Shady deal with Duracell needs to.
They don't need to only operate off the
it.
Duracell, sir. You can use any. I use rechargeables myself.
Yeah, I use
generic rechargeables, and the second they die, I swap them with a new pair. I never have my controller itself plugged in. It's never wired. I love it. Whereas my PlayStation controller, I game for 4 hours. The controller's dead. I have to either plug it in now or go and bust out my second one and hope it has a charge. Like I love that external.
If nothing else, whenever you go buy a second controller on, just by itself, like not getting the controller with the console, but whenever you go buy a secondary controller from like Walmart or whatever, I want there to be like a battery, like an internal battery that you can choose to plug and play and charge your battery that way, and then also maybe have like another back plate on it that you can put batteries in if you really need.
I'll meet you halfway.
That kills me. It kills
me. I'll meet you halfway though, Zemi. I'll meet you halfway. Maybe announce that they'll have 2 separate controller SKUs, if you will.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea. That works on both. That actually satisfies both people.
Yeah, that tickle everyone's fancy. For a person like Zemi, you've got the one with the battery stuck in. You can't get it out. You can charge it, and when you're playing for only 5 minutes and it's dying, you only have yourself to blame. God damn it!
That's great.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be stuck in there. It could be, like whenever you go buy an Xbox, like off the shelf, how it has the actual battery pack inside that you can recharge with the power cable. I want that to be included in every single secondary controller that you buy. You know what I mean? Like if you're not buying a console, if you just go out, grab a controller off a shelf, I want there to be an actual internal battery in the controller. That way you don't have to reuse it from your first Xbox.
Yeah, it comes with a charge pack.
I mean, it'd be fine if there was another back plate on it or whatever for you to put in batteries or whatever. I mean, that would be fine with me. I just want the ability to
not have to change batteries.
Yeah,
change batteries or be forced to buy another charge pack. I see what you're saying, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll read my quick 5, and then we'll end the show because obviously we're 2.5 hours in, which was amazing. First of all, I'm gonna go right to my go-to. I talked about it on BRAP last night. I talked about it on the Gaming News at Noon. I've been talking about this. I've been beating this damn drum for an entire year. Let's get a Killer Instinct 2. I think it's going to happen. I hope it's one of the announcements. I will be really, really, really disappointed if we don't hear anything. Fighting games are back in a big way. Mortal Kombat 11 is a perfect example of how a well-crafted fighting game can do for your console. And because it's an exclusive to the Microsoft platform, meaning either Windows or, of course, the Xbox One, you're going to get an amazing fighter. And I really hope that we get that. Of course, we talked about Banjo Kazooie. I really do want that to be announced. I think it's going to. We have evidence that says so. My third one is now we've heard about this. I don't know who would be developing it. I know that there was a studio attached to it. I'd like to see reimagining of Crimson Skies.
Oh, what a strong pick, bro.
That was a great multiplayer game, had a great story, had a very Indiana Jones kind of feel to it in the air, different planes to collect. I really enjoyed that game. My fourth one, it's an oldie but a goodie. They need to reboot Joanna Dark and bring a new Perfect Dark. We've heard rumors that the Coalition is currently in development of that. We don't know if that's true. If it is, I hope that they announce it there, because Joanna Dark has not been seen since 2010. It's been a full 9 years since the 360 game, and I think that that's a character on the level of a Splinter Cell, like a Sam Fisher. She's an Xbox character. She's a rare character, and in this climate, I think that the spy, the third person over the shoulder shooter is an important genre, especially for Microsoft, and they could really knock it out of the park with a new Perfect Dark. And the last one, and we kind of know this is going to be here. Gears Tactics needs to be shown off in a more productive way, but more so than just seeing it. I really hope that Rod Ferguson and the Gears team finds a way to not only confirm it for the Xbox One, because no one's really talking about it, but they need to bring controller support to this game. I understand mouse and keyboard is going to be the way for some people, but not for me. And if they can do away with mouse and keyboard for Halo Wars 1 and 2 and plenty of RTS games on the Xbox 360, I do not see why they cannot figure it out for Gears Tactics, which of course is a smaller RTS type of game where you're only moving 4 characters instead of moving tons of characters.
That's right, it's turn-based, so
I hope
take your time with that controller.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are my top 5. This has been an amazing show on many levels. First of all, it was 30 minutes past which I thought we were going to go. We're past 2.5 hours, which is great. We had almost 160 people watching live, which is amazing. The chat, once again, you guys prove we are the nicest chat in YouTube gaming. You guys come here, guys, gals, you come here, you talk video games. Everyone has different opinions, and everyone is pretty much respectful. I enjoy that, and I certainly appreciate that, because you know what? I don't want fighting. Having a different opinion is perfectly okay. That's what makes the world turn, but you don't have to be nasty about it. A real quick, LMNOP with the outstanding additional $10 super chat. He says, Rod Ferguson was a part of an old IP called Bloodwake. Wow, Bloodwake was fantastic. That was a boat racer / shooter. Why could he have Coalition just reinvent the cloud physics for water and invent gunplay on a boat? It would be Xbox's Warhawk, which Warhawk on the PS3 was dope. That's a great comment. Bloodwake is a real callback to the OG Xbox. I enjoyed that game a lot. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for the additional super chat, dude. That was amazing. And of course, I could not do this without this amazing panel, who I hope can come back to do the Xbox post show, whether it's on a Sunday evening and it might not work out because it's a late show, or it might be better that we do it Monday so I can write some show notes so we can really get everybody, because I want everybody there. Everyone here is a big Xbox fan. I'd love everyone to show up on Monday to do that. But of course, like I was saying, I could not do the show without this amazing panel. So let's get you guys out of here. We're going to write to the Welsh Gamer. Welsh, your channel is amazing. You're amazing. Your rants are even more amazing. But you are not only my partner in this, venture of the Xbox Factor podcast. You're actually one of my best friends, and I've never met you. And I'm hoping that we can rectify that in the future and crack a beer, even though it'll be a Dr. Pepper for me. But tell everyone where they can subscribe to your amazing channel. But more importantly, follow you on Twitter, where you are very active.
No, I appreciate that, Boom. The feeling is absolutely mutual. My brother, this venture's been absolutely amazing so far. I absolutely love it. I'm honored that you asked me in the first place. It truly is amazing. And I still appreciate it to this day. Shady and Zemi, absolute pleasure having you guys on. When the second Boom said to me that we were going to get a few extra people on this show, I was just like, man, it needs to be done. Like E3 is a juggernaut. I don't think with all this information and this hype, I don't think me and Boom could have carried it just by ourselves. So appreciate you guys jumping on as well. It's been a great discussion. I've enjoyed every minute of it. For those out there in the live chat, love you. You know how much I care about you all. I say it every single week. It means just as much to me that you guys are here, like, you know, discussing Xbox and talking gaming. Like, I absolutely think the world of all of you. As for following me, hit me up on Twitter at the Welsh Gamer 93 or my YouTube channel, The Welsh Gamer, 3 separate words. You can absolutely rest assured that there's going to be plenty of reaction videos and discussions post E3. All the new things we're going to see are, oh man, you know it's coming. A little bit of promotion though. This Sunday, when the E3 conference is live, the Xbox E3 conference is live, I'll be doing a live reaction podcast over at Saltiest Gaming's Saltiest Gaming's YouTube channel. I don't know who else is going to be on there, but me and him are in talks of doing that. And as for you, Boom, as long as it's like say the Monday, I'll definitely jump on for a reaction show.
Okay, yeah, then we'll set it up for Monday. Then we'll set it up for Monday. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good for me. But I mean, if you want to do it without me and you want to do it earlier, I wouldn't blame you. So keep that.
No, that's okay. Having you guys here, for me is more important. So obviously we'll set it up for Monday, but we'll talk as we get closer to the event.
No, that's awesome. But guys, thank you. Absolutely amazing show. The hype is real. I hope as a collective we put on a great show for you guys, got you all extra hyped for E3. And I just need to leave on this note. Mark my words, everybody, guys on the panel, everyone listening, when I say that we are all in for a treat this year. We are all in for an absolute treat, whether you're an Xbox fan, a PlayStation fan, a Nintendo fan, or just a gamer, man. That's the most important thing here. We are in for a treat this year. There's going to be a lot of mic drop moments, and I know I speak for the majority of the gaming populace when I say Xbox's E3 is going to be absolutely outstanding, incredible. Bring it on, man. Happy E3, everyone.
Well, listen, thanks again for that outro. That was amazing. And of course, like I said, dude, we will wait till Monday to get it done, to have everybody on this panel come back and talk about what was amazing, what was not, what was disappointing, what was exciting. So Shady, the hardest working dude in gaming. First of all, thanks for being here. Really appreciate your passion for gaming. You are, like I said, you know, you do a lot of podcasts. You enjoy talking about games, but I really enjoy hanging out with you on a regular basis, and having you a part of Breakfast with Boom and now Gaming News at Noon has been a real treat for me, because obviously you want to make sure that you have people that you can trust that are going to come on to the show and that's a real gamer, and you definitely fit that mold. Tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, take a listen to where you're going to be next.
Well, thank you, Boom, both for those kind words and for inviting me onto the show today, man. Like, my hype is just as real as it gets, dude. I'm already just, you know, Cloud 9, that's not high enough. I'm in outer space. That's not high enough. I've broken through the paradigm of reality with my hype. Like, if I had,
you're in the quantum realm is where you are.
That's what it is, man. If I didn't have the chance to get on here this morning and talk games with, you know, yourself, Welsh, Zemi, I would have been outside today yelling at my neighbors. Did you hear what Sony isn't going to E3 this year? My God, oh my! Have you heard Halo Infinite's coming? Like, I need to talk games. I need to. It's like a part of my DNA. I absolutely love this industry. I love this hobby. It is the ultimate form of escapism for me. It brings so much joy to my life, and to be able to come onto the show and share my passion for all of that with this fantastic community that you've built, Boom. It's just such a nice thing. I look forward to it every single week. As you've said, every Wednesday morning now, we've got Gaming News at Noon with Shady at Boom. Friday mornings, we've got Breakfast with Boom on your channel. Both of those are on your channel. And then Wednesday nights, I'm on the Xbox Nation podcast with Crap Gamer Reviews over there on his channel. Thank you, everybody, for spending your time with us this week. Enjoy your E3. I hope you're as hyped as I am. Take it easy, everybody. I'll catch you out there. Peace.
Nice. Well, of course, great outro as usual. Love working with you. Love having you on the show, and I really appreciate the passion that you bring each and every week. And of course, last and certainly in no way least, Zemi, who has been really jonesing to get on the Xbox Factor podcast. Obviously I could have asked anyone, and I wanted him because he is an Xbox fan and because he's such a really good dude. He brings jokes. He's very funny. He's very passionate about the Xbox brand, so I could not imagine having anyone else. Zemi, tell everyone where they can follow you, but more importantly, subscribe to your amazing YouTube channel.
Well, thank you so much, Boom, and thank you, Welsh and So Shady. Just sitting here today talking to you guys about E3 and what we think is going to happen is just such a blast. And to be on like the Xbox Factor podcast is absolutely amazing because I mean, Xbox is what I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love it so much. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at ambassador at Zimmy Games. I keep doing that. The ambassador thing.
Yeah, you've had it for so long, dude.
I know the rebranding. But you can follow me on Twitter at Zimmy Games, and then you can also search for me and find me on YouTube at Zimmy Games as well. And thank you so much, and thank you again so much for inviting me on this show because it was a huge blast.
Oh, listen, it's always great to have you, dude. And like I said, I really, truly appreciate not only you were here today, but you've agreed to be a permanent part of Breakfast with Boom. I think you do bring a unique dynamic to the way you talk about games. And I think the community really does dig that. And of course, your channel is excellent. You're over 10,000 subs, which is absolutely outstanding. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you're listening, I want to say this. His Twitter numbers are nowhere near where I believe they should be. Simply because if he has 10,000 followers for his amazing YouTube channel, there's no reason why he shouldn't be over 1,000 Twitter followers. The guy he's passionate. He's a community member where he puts community first. He's always doing charitable organizations for no reason other than just being a good guy. And we need more of that. So if you have not followed him on Twitter, I highly recommend that you do. Of course, that goes for everybody on this panel. Follow them, sub their channels, say what's up, tell them Boom sent you. And I just want to wish everyone an amazing weekend. I want to wish everyone a great E3. Hang out with your buddies, have fun, play games, enjoy what you're going to see. Respect other people's opinions, treat people how you want to be treated. And guess what, folks? Remember this. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. Please have a great, safe E3. Talk to you guys soon. And I will let everybody know when I touch down in LA in a couple of hours, actually. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for coming out, hanging out, and of course, showing your generosity with the super chats. Have a great day.